Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football with Jason and the Coach. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you're definitely in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame College Football with Jason and the Coach. We're missing Coach for right now. He may be here shortly. He has some stuff going on with his family, though, so hopefully he'll get in here in a little bit. But we do have a special guest with us tonight, friend of the show, and the newest member of the 1,000 subscription club, Mr. JJ Kitchen. Welcome to the show, JJ.
What's going on, man? I know 1,000, man. Wouldn't have done it without you, dude.
Oh, man, come on now. You're putting out all that content. You've been killing it. Love it, man. Congratulations. How you been?
I appreciate it, man. Believe me, I appreciate a lot of your subscribers, man. They certainly tune in. Chicken, Steven, they all do a good job, man. I really appreciate everybody in general.
Yep. Hey, man, love all these guys in here. Welcome into the show, everybody, as well. Sooner Legend Mike in here. Hankster, welcome in here. Good to see you. Stephen G, Kyle Dupuis, Mars Jams, and let's see who else. Everybody, make sure that you check in when you get to the show and wipe those feet as well. Make sure you hit that like button. JJ, lots of stuff going on. I definitely want to get into some of this conversation about this ongoing ACC shit.
I know.
It just never seems to go away. But, love to talk a little bit about that. But also, I was watching a little bit of Josh Pate earlier. We've kind of had some crazy stuff. Steve B, there he is. Check him out. Hey, good to see you, Steve B. Hey, but I wanted to talk a little bit about first. I was watching a little bit of Josh Pate earlier, and I've been kind of going over in my head with now that you're getting to a 12-team playoff, and now that you're starting to see the revenue in the Big Two conferences kind of skyrocket. How many teams, which teams which teams do you feel like are going to make the playoff, and how many teams actually have a chance at winning it all? I think that, probably not more than 5 or 6, but maybe you have a different feeling about that. And I think that it could be maybe a few more this year, but do you feel like it maybe separates out if they don't get some revenue to jump somewhere as well? Wanted to talk about that a little bit. Also, I'm gonna hey man, this is an Oklahoma kind of show. I'm gonna bust chops on Texas a little bit and talk about whether there might be one of those ones that can really do it. Hey man, thanks. I love that. Glad you like the hat. Talk about whether or not they can be one of the ones to do it. Look, talent-wise, we think they should be able to, but they always should be able to talent-wise. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And then, like I said, I really wanted to kind of get into what your thoughts are. And let's just kind of get into that first. What's going on with the ACC? Where do you see all this thing going? Is anything changed as far as you're concerned at the moment right now?
I would say at this point, when you look at the ACC, there's going to be a number of teams that look to try to get out. Obviously, Florida State was very vocal about it. Yeah. Did they go about it the wrong way? Yeah. Do I think it's a home run that they get out? No. And I think it's very apparent right now that, especially when you got guys like Pete Thamel and Ross Dellinger, two guys that I trust and just things that I've heard. But when you got Ross Dellinger putting it out there and Pete Thamel saying, you know what, Florida State doesn't have an exact place where they're going to land. And from what it looks like, Florida State won't get an invitation to the SEC, which we well know, especially with pro rata. The SEC, obviously, I like their game plan, especially for regional purposes. It'll be interesting to continue to watch. But the ACC, I think, with the one thing about Clemson, they jumped in, basically said, we're going to sue to see what it would take to get out. I thought it was very interesting that, Clemson's AD talked about how, they're not looking to leave, but in reality, they, hey, if it's an option and it's affordable, they'll look to leave. But right now they don't have a place to go. I think that Clemson's a great brand, but overall, I think when you look at the brands in the actual ACC, I have North Carolina number one, just because one of the market that they're in, the brand, especially the Jordan brand for who they are, not just basketball, but football. Football's been doing okay, nothing spectacular, especially with the quarterbacks they've had.
Yeah,
Drake
but that
May.
doesn't. But they're one of those schools that they transcend what sport we're talking about, right?
Yep. And it's a great. Obviously they're in the North Carolina market. I know the Big Ten would certainly love to get in there. So would the SEC. But what I can tell you is this: I think Florida State, I think in due time, and whether it's 2028 or 2029, will get out. Their lawsuit, for people who are asking, their lawsuit's talking about how much, can we get off? How much can we lower the buyout to get out?
Yeah.
And, from talking to David McKenzie, who's a, legendary attorney, especially out of North Carolina, the first thing he said is, you look at the actual overall basis of what Florida State's looking to claim. And even Clemson has more of an idea of what they're saying. They're saying that, look, the buyout, the grant of rights isn't bulletproof, but more importantly, what would it take to get out of it? And I think they have more of an understanding in terms of what the grant of rights is doing. Florida State is more just, it's out there. Okay. There's no real description of what they're trying to do. What they're trying to do at this point, to put it simply, is to whine, cry, and get out without paying a fee. And that's just not going to happen. And I understand that, the talking heads have talked, and obviously the Florida State fans aren't going to want to hear this. And obviously it's, oh, well, we just want to get out. Obviously do what's right, lower the buyout. I'm sorry. If you want to do what's right, guess what? I think every single ACC team made a mistake by signing that grant of rights. And you got to live with that grant of rights.
Yeah.
And guess what? You don't want to pay $500 million? And guess what? You better buckle up and get ready for the ACC then. It's that simple. And I think that Florida State, obviously had one good season last year. They got back on track. I thought Norvell and them did a good job. Did really well, had a very good season, obviously going undefeated. If Jordan Travis wouldn't have gotten hurt, they would have certainly been a playoff team. That's for a fact. They had a hell of a year last year. But guess what? I understand we want to talk about viewership and whatnot, and the viewership numbers that Florida State put out there, they didn't include the ACC network when teams are on there. That's a little skewed. Obviously, Florida State is a good brand. It's got great viewership. But the one thing that's not going to subside is the fact that they need to pay. If they want to leave, they need to pay. They can whine and cry all they want. But the difference is, and I told people, it was kind of funny on the recent show that I had, they talked about how when you look at the ACC, they said, well, could it potentially be like the Big 12 when Texas and Oklahoma left? And the reason I say no is because there's a lot more duration on this contract. There's more than what, 10 plus years on this contract, and the Big 12 was in a completely different world. Oklahoma and Texas were guaranteed to leave. They were going to leave regardless, and they needed to sign a new TV deal because the teams that they brought in are certainly not as good as Oklahoma and Texas. It's just a fact. And I think that one of the things people need to look at and see is say, man, they made a deal. They got to the market value. If it was the same time right now, the ACC would get more money, but they can't. And I think that a lot of people need to understand is that it's still ongoing at this point.
Well, something I wanted to say, I was talking to Jim Williams on the phone earlier today, and we kind of got into talking a little bit about this. And the thing is it feels like there's a lot of people out there that have this expectation that the entire league's going to blow up. And I just don't see that happening. Number one, first and foremost, the SEC doesn't want a bunch of teams. Neither does the Big Ten for that matter, because at some point it becomes dilutive. Okay. Mm-hmm. You're not going to add teams if they're not going to, the prorated thing. I don't know what it is in the SEC or, but the SEC's they don't already want to add a ninth league game because ESPN doesn't want to pay for it right now. We can't afford it, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother story that we could talk about. But the point I'm making is that, so anybody you bring in, what are you going to get extra? There's probably going to be, if you brought in somebody like Florida State or Miami or Carolina or, obviously Clemson, but is Clemson as attractive though right now when they're not really winning and not wanting to play the game as Dabo's not wanting to do, dragging his feet, acting, kicking and screaming like Nick Saban, but only not leaving the game. You know what I mean? But how, I don't know. The point being is that I just don't see that you have a ton of movement. Once you get out of that 4, even maybe 5, 6 teams programs, who do they want in the SEC or the Big Ten? They probably don't. And that's just, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't. I'm just saying that that's the truth. So the ACC is probably looking at, okay, we're going to have to expand. We're either going to have to bring in Oregon State, Washington State, or, you know, you're going to go in and you're going to try to pull, whether it be, you know, South Florida, Memphis, whatever, right?
Yeah.
To try to backfill whatever they don't get. Now, can the Big 12 pick up some schools? I think Pitt, I don't know how, I was going to ask you that. How much would Pitt really want to go to the Big 12? Because it's so far out of their footprint. Now they'd be in with West Virginia. Theoretically, they've been talking a lot of Louisville lately, right?
Louisville, yeah.
Into the Big 12. And there's some people out there saying Miami. I think that's a pipe dream. But
yeah, that's not going to happen.
I don't see that either. But the point is that you're going to get, by the time they're done picking through whatever, there's still going to be minimum 10, 12, or, you know, 8 teams at the most, but they can backfill with some of these other programs. You don't tell me that you're not going to go after UConn if you're the ACC. You don't tell me that you're not going to go after, you know, even whoever it is. And do you really, if you're Carolina, do you really need to leave the league? I don't know that you really do. Now, I know they've been talking a lot lately. The point is, I just don't see that all this is going to really work out that well. And that's what we were talking about with Jim. He was saying he just didn't. Why in the hell is ESPN going to overpay for something they already freaking own?
Yeah. And I think that people need to, and I've talked about this, and you bring up some damn good points there. You know, one, I don't see the league dissolving. And the reason for that is because I do believe it's only a certain amount of teams. I think when you look at, you know, Florida State and Clemson, personally, I don't see Florida State or Clemson bringing any value to the SEC, to be quite honest with you. I think the only fit for them would be the Big Ten because it's a new market. Obviously, the SEC owns the Florida market with Florida. People could say what they want about it. Obviously, Florida's been a really bad football team for years now.
Yeah, but they're still one of the SEC's, you know, power
Original
programs when they get it right. You know what I mean? And they can recruit with the best of them.
Yeah. And again, it's going to be a team that fills up their stadium. They're going to still have viewership. So even though they've been mediocre for the most portion of, you know, 5+ years, 6+ years, 7+ years, it's still a good brand. Florida's still a good brand.
Of course it is.
I think that the biggest thing is when you look at the overall, when you go to add teams, the only way that I really see anything getting turned upside down, and it was kind of funny before I even get to that, North Carolina latching on to North Carolina State is what really put me in the boat of North Carolina is not going to leave the ACC.
I don't know that they
Miami,
are either, because who the hell wants NC State?
I know the Big Ten don't.
They want Virginia. They'd love to have Virginia, I think. I think so. Either one of them would love Virginia. But they don't. I don't see them wanting NC State, and it's just. I mean, you know, not that I think anything's really wrong with the school, but Wake Forest isn't really a brand. In NC State's not a huge brand. Duke is a big brand, but for hoop pretty much.
Yeah, they're not gonna. Duke would be a major fit in the Big Ten, but I don't see them adding them. You know, Wake Forest obviously it's the smallest Power 5. School in the country
doesn't go anywhere. Duke's not going anywhere.
Yeah. And that's why, you know, they don't want to leave the ACC. And I think that's kind of where, you know, it's kind of funny. I was texting, and I want to say this about like 2 weeks ago. I was actually DMing on Twitter, Jim Williams, and we were talking about how he put out a tweet saying, look, I don't see the ACC falling apart at all. I said the same exact thing because when ESPN joined the suit against Florida State, that's a major, major move. It's very different if ESPN said, hey, you know what, hands off the wheel, let you guys figure this stuff out, let yourselves eat each other up, and that's it. But the fact that ESPN joined it, the fact that North Carolina latched on and decided to say, hey, we're a package deal, that's a major factor in what they're looking to do. Miami's AD comes out and says, look, we're staying in the ACC because, one, I think in reality they wanted to go to the SEC, but there's just they're not going to get in. The pro rata is not going to allow them to get in. The Florida market's already taken. But
yeah, I don't know that it's much about markets anymore, though, as it used to be, though, JJ. That's the only thing about that is I think it's more about brands. It's about brands,
but for the pro rata, they have to go into a new market.
They have to. Now that they're going to go to streaming and that they're going to do all this, it's not. I don't. Whoever you want to watch, you're going to be able to watch them. So I don't think it's as much about. I think it's brands that can pull from everywhere, right? You know,
I think it's a factor, but for ESPN, look, ESPN still has all the rights concerning the SEC.
Yeah,
and the SEC, if they want to add more money in,
pay them more to go play in the SEC, then you have to pay them to be in the SEC than the ACC.
Or pay them more there,
12 for that matter. I mean, yeah, why would you do that?
Pay them more there, but also too, they wouldn't even get a full share in the SEC because again, I'm telling you, pro rata will not allow them to get a full share. It's like for instance, look at the Big Ten, for instance. They brought upon Oregon and Washington late in the game. They're only getting a 30% portion because in the pro rata, NBC, Fox, CBS said, look, we're not giving you more. We will give them a full share in 2030 when we renegotiate, but until 2030, they're going to live with 30%. So, you know, and I totally agree that it's definitely a part of the brands that are also there too. I think it's a major factor, but for a full share until 2030, pro rata certainly has that. In 2030, then we may have another conversation that says, hey, these teams might get in. But you look at the Big 12, they're not making enough money to where it makes sense to jump from the ACC to the Big 12. It just doesn't. If the ACC stays above 14 members, which, look, let's say Clemson and, you know, even if Clemson and Florida State leave, they're still above 14. But I expect fully that Washington State and Oregon State will get invited to the ACC. I think these schools are a lot closer in terms of them staying together. Obviously, will they ever match what they're going to make with the Big Ten of the SEC? No. But guess what? Your options are you stay in the ACC or you go to the Big 12. And I think it's pretty clear at this point, the Big 12, I mean, there are no major brands in the Big 12. There are none. Zero. Nada. You know, if you want to consider maybe Kansas because of basketball, you know, okay, I'll give them Kansas. But overall,
in you look basketball only, but nobody cares about. I mean, and even though they've got Lance Leipold and they're on their way to a different area, I believe, but they're still in the Big 12. And the problem with the Big 12, and this is, I was watching Bomber Show a little while ago, and you still have this idea that, look, the only way I think that you could save, that you're really going to save the Big 12 or keep them from being so far behind, is to get somebody that's a marquee program that can carry you as a breadwinner program, a brand, right? Notre Dame. You could find a way to get Notre Dame in the mix, ACC included, or Miami maybe, right? If you were somehow able to, you know, and Sooner in Texas, I'm telling you, North Carolina is a top 10 to 15 at the very most brand in the country, period, for any college athletics.
Yes. I agree.
It just is. I'm telling you, Michael Jordan and everything that goes along with Nike, it's very similar to what it is with Oregon. And if you think about it, they've won the same amount of shit as Oregon's won in football. Yeah. So, I mean, you know what I mean? We can sit here and say whatever you want, but Carolina it's a monster brand, and
it's a premier brand. It's all over the country, and especially too when you look at North Carolina, you know, Michigan can wear the Jordan brand all they want.
The battle for Tobacco Road is huge. I don't care. Yeah. It's one of those basketball things that kind of transcends the game itself. You know what I mean? I understand that nobody gives a shit about their football.
Yeah.
But they do. And if you're a Carolina fan, you're a Carolina fan. That's just all there is to it.
Yep.
So
and look, they have fans all over the country. They're a major brand. And again,
same thing for Duke, really. I mean, it's not as big as Carolina, but it's big.
Yeah, I mean, that's just how big they are and why people go towards Duke in North Carolina for that brand overall. But I just think, and again, that's why Bomber and all them are really hoping. I mean, I give them credit. They do need the ACC to fall apart, because if the ACC doesn't fall apart, they're the fourth best conference. They have no major brands. If we went to viewership,
you had people networks in the comment section that were saying, well, we wouldn't want Notre Dame. They screwed up the Big East when they're there. What?
Yeah, dude, only the biggest fish left.
Be so glad that Notre Dame might say no to the Big Ten because of all the anti-Catholic stuff that's been going on forever.
Yeah.
Because that might be your one chance to really be able to stay relevant. Because here's the thing. if you're 40 or 50 million dollars behind and you agreed, why the hell they agreed to the revenue split for the CFP that's even more favored towards the Big Ten and SEC is so beyond me. I think you have to call the SEC and the Big Ten's bluff there.
Yeah. And
if
I would have been more
split it.
I would have been more aggressive about it, but I think that there's an understanding that, look, hey, they're going to get the bids in there. You know, you have the bids, and I still think that they're still going to be very competitive because you see the teams that pop up that shouldn't be in the top 25 that make their way in there. It's still, you know, the transfer portal, people are in and out constantly. Obviously, those schools will certainly get more money. But the question that I think that it's going to come down to is I think eventually the Power Four will break off from the NCAA, and that's going to be the one that really gets you going that says, hey, is there going to be multiple networks that create one official pot to where it's like the National Football League, and you decide.
That's not what it looks like to me, though, because if they wanted to do that, they could do that already, right? Because here's the thing: if you're Greg Sankey, we know that he doesn't want to get outside of the SEC footprint very far. He doesn't want to be a coast-to-coast league. He wants to stay in the South. That's why you're not going to see him going after a UConn or anywhere further than probably Oklahoma State on the other way. But they're not. I mean, that's way down the line if it ever comes for them. I could see him maybe West Virginia would be as far up north as they're going to get on the east side. You know what I mean? I think but I think that they would prefer Virginia. They would prefer North Carolina, you know.
Yeah.
And I think they would probably prefer Clemson just because of the fact that they can put together. Well, you know that they can put together a program if they get their shit together.
Yeah, and if they get back to where they were, obviously, I mean, they're still. I mean, they had. I give them props this past year. One really bad year under Dabo. We'll see if he lets Garrett Riley actually coach his offense. But yeah, I mean, Dabo and Clemson have proven.
Well,
I mean,
he's got to start playing the NIL game. They're not even trying. They're not even making an effort at the portal. They mailed it in again this year when they. Dude, how long? I mean, you're going to continue blaming quarterbacks. You're going to get the damn receiver in there, for God's sakes.
Yeah, their wide receiver room isn't exactly very good.
Coach I's son or nephew, sorry, Coach I's nephew. He went to South Carolina de facto because Clemson just didn't really make the move, and he's one of the best receivers in the country. It's unbelievable, right? I mean,
and he's starting to get passed up to where, you know, Dabo was the king of college football there for a number of years. I mean, he was waxing any team in any conference. I mean, he was that good, but he's lacking the adjustments right now. And I think that's very clear. And when you look at these
thing
teams,
that I was going to get at, though, just so I finish my thought, because I want to finish what I'm saying with it, and then I'll let you go with it.
Mm-hmm.
The point that I'm trying to make is, okay, if they wanted to like make it equal and bring in all these teams and shore up what they have and break away, they would have done that by now. Because look, I don't think that beyond 2 or 3, maybe 4 teams tops for each conference, they don't want to go. And I don't even think they necessarily want to go a whole lot bigger than that. I think that they would rather leave you in the ACC, leave you in the Big 12, and because they know that they can still dominate the playoff and have more programs in there and get more money, and kind of, because make no mistake, the SEC and Big Ten don't give a shit about it being fair.
Yeah, which is,
they don't care about
that. That's a whole nother discussion where, you know.
But the point
I will say this.
I understand that is, if that's what they wanted, it would be fair. That's not that's not what they're aiming at. That's not what the networks are aiming at either. You know, if that's what they were aiming at, that's where we would be. And that's just, I don't see that. So to me, I think this is a tough time for both of these. If I'm the ACC and the Big 12, rather than let's see if we can pick each other apart, I'm kind of wondering if maybe we can come up with some kind of an alliance, whether it's a full-on merger or if it's a, hey, you know what? We need to get it together and somehow save this thing between us. Because look, not everybody wants to go to the Big 12. and not everybody in the Big 12 would want to go to the ACC or whatever. I think there's a couple of programs that would. I think West Virginia would probably think about the ACC if the ACC was going to be viable.
If the money continues to stay how close it is, and if the contract continues to stay in what it is right now with ESPN, with the ACC potentially then in 2031, 2032, they start getting 60 plus, 65, and then 70 for the last 2 years. West Virginia is going to go to the ACC at some point because, one, they're in so much debt as a university. I mean, they cut more programs.
And it's so hard for them because they don't have, I mean, you hear Kuz talking about it all the time. Without that travel partner, I mean, they're constantly, and they'd love to have Cincinnati's great to have in the league with them now at this point. But I mean, aside from that, you really don't have anything that's helpful for you.
Yeah. Right? I mean, they continue to go west. They're not adding any teams that are currently there. I think, if you asked an average West Virginia fan, they'd say they want to be in the ACC because of the rivals between Virginia Tech.
Well, Timothy was in here. I mean, I know that they've been good stewards of the Big 12. I'm not bad mouthing the West Virginia in any way whatsoever. Right.
Yeah.
Boomer, you be nice about them.
Hillbilly you. But I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I think that the merger won't happen because that'll be too many teams. And I think that, it's funny.
I'm not talking about a merger so much, but like, you remember when the Pac-12 and the Big 12 were talking about you could do a scheduling deal where you could kind of, and maybe it'd be, your tournaments or a playoff of some kind, where you kind of division it out or whatever, and you can keep your conference and make it to where you don't have so much crazy travel, right? But you could build revenue up that way, and maybe it wouldn't be so far behind. At least, I mean, and that would be less dilutive than like adding South Florida and Memphis and whoever the hell else. I mean, I think you behoove yourself to get UConn because they're mashing in basketball, and they always have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but to me, I think you're going to have to find a way to and I love it that the Big 12 is trying to think outside the box, thinking basketball. But the point I was making about Bomber Show was they're sitting there saying stuff like, well, we wouldn't want anything to do with Notre Dame. What, are you shitting me? Yes, you would. Because the eyes are there every week, and you've got a program, whether they win it every year or not, doesn't even matter.
And I can tell you this, one, and they're saying that because they understand Notre Dame would never go to the Big 12. They would never consider the Big 12. At this point, it's going to be the ACC or independence forever. And if I put my money on it, it's independence forever. That's my opinion. I think they value independence so much. I've had people and friends that have worked there. Unless there's a gun to their head and they've been shot twice, there's no way they're joining a conference. And it's, the only thing that could be the driver in this. And again, I've talked about this before. The one player that truly wants to get involved in this game and has been, he's a Duke alum and he's been well known to try to get into sports. He's obviously building the media market is Apple, and that's Tim Cook. And Tim Cook is a Duke alum. There's been plenty of conversation about him controlling, potentially
Jim
buying
was talking
ESPN.
About that earlier. What are you waiting on? If you're,
it's coming. It's coming.
ESPN, I'm so surprised that ESPN hasn't pulled that cord yet.
I think he's trying to hang on for dear life because he's trying at this point. He doesn't want to lose control of what ESPN truly is. What I think he may do is he might try to bring in Apple to the ACC to build that brand to where, hey, we'll take a portion out, we'll take a cut out. We continue to control the ACC network, and then Apple comes on and has games that they can stream on their network. Oh, there he is! Look at that! Look at that!
This dog is a freaking pain in the ass, and he gets bigger by the day. What is this conversation about hillbillies in Oklahoma versus West Virginia?
I don't know, but it's going on in there.
Talking about Mormon.
But I'm telling you right now, the ACC will not fall apart. In the beginning stages,
I don't think it's ready yet. I think it's too early. And I think that right now they want to wait and see kind of what this thing shakes out as. I think there's a reason. I think there's a reason why they kind of put off what they're going to switch everything to, and like what's going to be the split on the number of playoff teams, because they don't know what they want to do yet.
Yeah.
That being said, I mean, Could you see Florida State getting out and doing some kind of independent thing or whatever because they kind of go public or do whatever they do with the brand deal or something like that?
Sure. If they do that, good luck to them. There won't be Florida State anymore. I mean, first off, I think
that a lot of it's going to have to do with what is going to be because they're going to settle. They're not going to take it to court. Nobody wants to go to court. They're going to have to find a common ground for that. They're leaving. It's a matter of when and how much it costs.
Yeah, I agree. They're leaving, but I think that it's still going to be. It might not be $500 million, but I'd be shocked if it's under 400. I'd be shocked. And obviously, they tried their stuff where they talked about private equity. I hope to God they do. I am in finance and corporate finance. If I'm private equity, I would be licking my chops to get a hold of Florida State because they would owe me for the eternity.
Yeah.
And private equity, I got news for people. Private equity, for anything that you do, whether it's a business or anything, there's no collateral on the deal. You're taking equity of that organization that you own. If you take equity of that organization, It's over. It's done.
Well, you do, but you also give them a big fat chunk of money, and then they get, From what I can tell from what an equity deal, it doesn't sound terrible to me.
Oh, buddy, I can tell you right now, man. There's a reason private equity firms are loaded, and guess what? There's more return. There's more return for us than there is the university. I can tell you that. And guess what? They're basically what you're doing at that point too. Is you're saying college.
If you could get into the Big Ten or the SEC, and you've got 100%. That money coming to you, you've got to do it because you're going to make that money back like that just by getting the money split. Even if they don't get a full split, they're going to make that money back a lot quicker than they will in the ACC. And that's where I feel like that's the problem all overall. And we can kind of get off the subject, but the point is, the reason I wanted to bring some of this up is you start talking about what we're talking about, the college football playoff, and we've said this a lot, JJ. College football is never going to look the same way that it's looked in the past. We don't even know what this is going to look like in 2 or 3 years. I don't know what it's going to look like in 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
But 2 or 3 years of this, if you are not making the kind of money, and when you're the Big 12 and you gagged, and the one thing that you're supposed to do something in the NCAA tournament, are they safe? I'm not sure that they are. I'm not sure that they are. No, they don't even have a team in. I mean, they didn't. Did they even get anybody past the Sweet 16?
No.
Houston got past
the Elite 8. Yeah. No, the Elite 8 was because Houston lost to
the Sweet 16.
Yeah. And again, that was a huge conversation this year too. Obviously they've been tooting their horn about being the number 1 basketball conference in all of America, and guess what? They got waxed again. Waxed again. And the Mountain West had 5 or 6 teams. They got waxed again. Mm-hmm. It's just I look at it from a lens where you look at these teams, and it's just a fact. Some of those teams were overrated. And I looked at Kansas. They were ranked to the higher portion of the Big 12.
But Kansas when they had their 2 best players were hurt for the better part of the second half of the season, and you didn't know what you were going to get from them. Sometimes they were good, sometimes they were awful. Iowa State, I mean, they didn't have a real scorer. Houston, I don't know what happened with them, except for you kind of ran into a buzzsaw with Alabama. Just looks really good, surprisingly enough. But they can shoot the 3. That is the equalizer. But I think that Houston you didn't really get a whole lot of help from anybody else either. If you'd had some of these other teams, Texas Tech and Baylor and these other programs that kind of step up and get a win or 2, make it a little, or at least make it a little harder on them before they get to them, then you might have a better shot. I think that Kelvin Sampson's a hell of a coach, but I don't know that that's going to really be that big of an ad when you add Arizona next year.
Yeah.
How big of an ad is that? I know they're considered one of those blue blood schools when it comes to hoop, but what have they done lately?
Yeah. And I just think that some of these moves, and I understand with the Big 12, they're trying to think outside the box, but just all these moves are related to football. The real moves are related to football, and they're just, you look at that conference, And, it's funny to me when, people send me clips of, Bomber, talking about how, well, there's a lot of dead weight in the ACC. I disagree. There's a lot of dead weight in the Big 12.
Well, there's a lot of dead weight. Here's the thing. They beat each other up, and it's the same problem that you're going to have in football. And with basketball, think about this. Out of the Final Four teams, I forgot what the stat is, but there's almost nobody on a team that's been on the exact same team for more than 2 years.
Yeah. It's all transfer portal. Yeah.
And the portal, and when you've got a smaller team, that can change the complexion of an entire conference today, right now, because they have zero control over what these kids are doing. Oklahoma right now, what do they got? They have nothing. They have, they're losing everybody to the portal right now. Hey, what's up, man? What up? Listen, in the end, you say
I think Oklahoma will be fine now. I'm not concerned
in
about
the
Oklahoma.
SEC, they're gonna. I'm just saying, but with the Big 12 is there right now. They've been saying that we can make up the money with basketball when we're able to break that out on its own contract, not just give it away as part of the football deal. But how much is it really going to be worth?
Yeah,
because you don't know if you're going to keep that from year to year.
Yeah,
you expect Kansas to do their thing more times than they don't.
Mm-hmm.
But even Baylor and Tech and those guys, you don't trust Baylor or Tech and you can't really trust Arizona to be there every year, in Houston too. And I agree with what you were saying there too, Stephen G, that part of the reason that Houston, they lost their best player, but that's a depth thing too. It's not like old school days where they got guys on the bench at Duke. You know what I mean? These great programs that, their starting five is cool, but they've also got 6, 7, 8, and 9 that would start anywhere else in the country. They don't have that at Houston, and they don't really have that anywhere. Even Kansas didn't have it.
Yeah,
Kansas is the best program in the country, right now. Anyway, I don't know. I'm on my soapbox a little bit about it. In the end, I don't think that we're really any closer to a resolution. And I know we keep hearing TJ Pittenger talk.
Dog, he just, God, I get it. He's a Florida State guy, so he's got to try to pump it up as much as he can. But, do I think they get out? I do. Do I think they're going to pay a lot of money? Hell yeah. The idea that they're going to pay 0 or 100 or 200 million is absolutely wild to me. I mean, legally, Florida State's case is extremely weak because they signed over their rights. They signed that document, whether they like it or not. And they can claim, the ACC didn't tell us about this. It's in the documents, man.
Yeah, you got what the hell were your attorneys doing? And I mean, TJ's always got that attorney on that's always pointing out this and that about all the holes in the contract. Well, where the hell were you?
Where are they
signing this shit?
Yeah, I mean, good luck with that. If they were so sure that if they were so sure they were going to win, the ACC and ESPN would not jointly be in this deal to go to court and spend millions of dollars in court. It's just not going to happen. And talking to David McKenzie said it best. He's like, look, they're going to put a fork in them. They're going to pay. If they want to leave, they got to pay. It's that simple. There's no cookie cutter around it. It is what it is. It's a bad deal. It's a bad deal for the teams. But guess what? These presidents who apparently have PhDs aren't really using them very well. These are the guys that read these contracts and they know exactly what the hell they were getting into. And guess what? Even before we got into this damn contract, Florida State was complaining. And then they wanted the ACC network. And then they wanted more teams. And then they were complaining about that. Florida State's been complaining for years, and I get it. Once Jimbo, towards, obviously the last 2 years of Jimbo were horrendous. But guess what? But, the between Bobby Bowden and Jimbo Fisher, and then besides those last 2 years, again, Florida State had a great year last year. That's great. Right. We'll see if they can do it twice, and at the same time, though, too, how many times did Nick Saban get his team to perform in the Cotton Bowl or the Sugar Bowl or anything if they were left out of the college football playoff?
Nobody
Florida
does.
State went in there and they got whacked.
Look at what OSU did. They lost to Mizzou.
Yeah. You find out real quick who the dogs are and who really has the better culture on all these teams. It's that simple.
Orca, I want Duke, UNC, and Pitt in the Big 12. I want Gwen Stefani to be my next ex-wife.
Purple Orca. That'd be, again, do I like some of the teams from the Big 12? Obviously. Do I want Pitt and West Virginia in the same conference? Yeah, because the backyard brawl,
that would be cool.
Always raising $4+ million. Yeah, it's great.
Louisville, Cincinnati, that'd be great for Pitt, West Virginia, Louisville, Cincinnati. You keep them in like a little pot or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, if the money stays consistent to what it is now, and also too, I think a lot of people aren't understanding.
You trying to get kicked out of here or something for saying shit like that?
What's that?
Saying I'm a closet Mizzou fan.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my God.
Trying to get in timeout. See, everybody trying to get timeouts lately. I had to put Brinsky into timeout last night. Talking about Mizzou's going to beat Oklahoma by like 42-7. He put. I kicked his ass right out of there.
You're about to get Eric Durkowitz. But I mean, there are some teams, but I think what really hasn't been talked about enough is that what are the viewership numbers going to look like for the Big 12 now that Oklahoma and Texas are out of that conference and that have led in terms of viewership. Guess what? Just because you're making 40 to 45 million in that contract you have now does not mean in 2030 that you're going to make 40 to 45 million there. If your numbers are bad, it's going to get ugly. I have more faith in the ACC because of the markets that we're in and the brands that are currently in there. We have the bigger brands and we have the much larger markets. I would not be shocked to see certain teams, like especially if the numbers stay the same or if it continues to get more what it's supposed to in the ACC. West Virginia, I think, is a natural fit for the ACC. I think Cincinnati would be a natural add. And I wouldn't be shocked especially if the Big 12, in terms of teams that look to join SMU or schools from the Texas area, don't be shocked if you see like a Texas Christian go there, TCU. The only way that I even see any of this stuff really exploding is if the Big Ten, if the rumors are true, and that Texas A&M gets a bug up their ass because they allowed Texas in, and they go to the Big Ten. It's the only way that I see anything going major sideways, that anything that we haven't talked about hits the fan. Because I understand, and there's plenty of people between coaches that I've talked to down there, those administrators really do believe that they're number one in the state of Texas, which I got news for you. It's not. Talk about Texas. Anybody can talk about Texas all they want. They run that state, okay? And the fact that Texas A&M, and I understand they got a lot of money, but guess what? They haven't been paying players down there. They're having issues with that. And especially with all the NIL money they got, they still can't win. Now, is it going to be different under Mike Elko? If he allows the boosters to stay out of the way, I think it's going to be a damn good team because Mike Elko can build a team. I think Texas, we're going to see what Sarkisian's built for. We're going to find out real quick because now you're going to be facing guys in that conference. You're no longer in the Big 12 anymore.
Look at you setting up the next topic perfectly as I'm typing in shit. All right. So, and I know everybody's kind of sick of talking about realignment. I'm with you. Yeah. I don't want to stay on it anymore anyway. But Shawty, and then everybody was asking, okay, here I got it in there. Topic. How many programs can win the college football playoff this season? Shawty, I know you're going to love this one. How many teams can do it? You're going to get 12 teams in. I don't know what the split's going to be because it's a 7-5 deal. So you're going to get 7 automatics. You're going to get 1 non-Power 5 program in. It'd be great whenever they stop doing that shit. And I think that's the other thing. I think you help yourself a lot. If you're a non-Power 5 school, break off and do your own playoff. You will make more money that way than you're going to make getting into here. I mean, the split on it is already so bad, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Before you start just saying 3 teams, maybe 4, do you want to come in, Shawty? Because I'll let you in to talk about this if you want, and I'll shoot you this link. In fact, I'll send it to you right now.
So I was going to say 3 to 6. I'm going in that range, 3 to 6.
Okay. So name them off. Let's name them off. Who are the teams that realistically to you can win this? And I'm talking this year. I'm not talking about next year. I think it gets harder and harder because of what we were just talking about. When the revenue split gets bigger, And you can pay more to these kids in NIL and whatever it is, and we don't know what that's going to look like either, but the money's going to be different. So it's going to get harder. This is I think the best chance for an ACC school to do it or a Big 12 school to do it is probably now. And I don't think it's a great chance. But
I think it'll get harder, but at the same time, though, there's been a discrepancy, and it's been large for how many years? I still have, for me, I have two. The teams that I have between the 3 to 6, I'd say, obviously Georgia with your best spot, Georgia,
sure.
Alabama, Georgia, Alabama. I'll put obviously Ohio State, and Michigan in there. That's my 4 right there, and then I'll say Florida State, and then. Who's the other one that I had? I'm thinking of the oh my God, why am I drawing a blank?
Texas, Oklahoma, LSU.
LSU, yes, thank you. LSU.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. I've got. And I'm not talking about. Hold on. I guess we should kind of look at this in another way. There's programs that could win it. Now, whether or not they can win it this year, because there's certain programs that are in certain positions, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that could theoretically, they can recruit well enough to do it from year to year, and that starts now, right? So to me, I don't think it's that low. I think that if you're talking about actual contenders for the championship right now, but I'm saying that has a program that can do it, right? I think that right now, Florida State might be hanging on by a freaking thread, and I don't even know that I believe that they can win it at this moment.
That's a damn good roster, brother. That they're spending a lot of money, and
Okay.
NIL certainly helping them. The reason I dropped Clemson is because of the wide receiver
roster do it though. When have we seen an NIL roster do it though? Because that's when you start getting into culture. You're building a culture of mercenaries that's not exactly conducive to winning big, or at least not that we've seen yet, right?
Brother, I think whether it's 5 teams or 10 teams, they're all NIL. Because I got news for you, Georgia. They're paying millions.
Like, if you're heavy portal, right? If you're heavy in the portal, can you do that from year to year? And I think that Florida State they're not recruiting great. I don't think Mike Norvell's doing a great job recruiting. I think their NIL is great. They can get in the portal and get those guys because they do have a good enough brand for that. But I don't think Norvell and them are recruiting well enough to win it as a program right now. And if they are, it's by this much.
I think he's doing a really good job. Now, here's my thing: can a team like Colorado that's overlapping its entire roster? I'd say no. But when you're adding guys in the 5 to 10 range to fill gaps and fill holes, I don't see that as a problem. And that's really what Florida State. Look, I'm by no means am I a Florida State guy, but I look at that team.
No, I know that. I know that. And I mean, we can, and I'm not saying we have to agree here. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I mean, you know where I'm coming from is that program wise, I think that they're hanging on by a thread because they're not recruiting for the long haul. I think that you can go get a quarterback and you can go get a couple of skill guys here and there. You need to build your offensive and defensive lines through recruiting. You have to. You can fill in little holes. But wholesale it and getting as many, you going full Ole Miss, or you know what I mean, and or even like what Colorado did last year, where they just flipped the whole damn thing.
That'll never work. Yeah, that'll never work.
It's not going to happen. You can't do that, right?
Yeah.
To me, you're starting to run out of. We're running out of ammo for shit talking. I think the dark horse to make a run this year is K-State.
No.
Yeah, they're not. No, they're not. They don't have the quarterback. They don't have the quarterback. They don't have what explosive guy is going to go and run through one of these defenses, whether it's a Big Ten defense or SEC defense? Which one?
And I will say to Kyle, I will say this: to win the Big 12, I could definitely see them as a dark horse. Sure. But to win the playoff, I look at these teams. I look at these teams from the front.
They had one of the best running backs in the last 10 years in the Big 12 2 years ago and got boat raced when they got into just a New Year's Six game.
Yeah, Alabama just absolutely whipped them. I mean, that's
boat raced them.
TCU is the same way. I mean, you look at the playoff, the two teams. I mean, obviously, notoriously, the Big 12 has just gotten smacked in the playoff. I mean, that's been well known. But at the same time, though, I just think that they're still good teams. They're still damn good teams. But I just don't know when you look at teams like Georgia, Alabama, and yes, we still got to see what's his face. Obviously, I'm drawing a blank. Jason at Alabama head coach just took the job.
Kalen
DeBoer, I think, has done a hell of a job embracing the portal. He's done a hell of a job he got back. His face from Iowa?
Recruiting a little bit too. I think that he's doing a better job at recruiting. He hired some coaches that are good with the SEC. I think the jury's still out on Kalen DeBoer, man. The jury's going to be out on him because recruiting in the top 10 is not going to be enough at Alabama. They're used to being number 1 or number 2, man.
Yeah. And we'll see what he does, but I think he hired better coaches on defense. I think when you look at their defensive staff, I like the additions that they brought on board there. I think that you look at their offense, it can't be any worse than what it was last year. I am not a Tommy Reese guy. I thought that was a horrible hire for Alabama to begin with. Horrible. And I mean,
the thing is, they're going to run what Nick Saban wants to run either way. I mean, it was But yeah, I agree with you. Coach will tell you all damn day. It was stupid hire.
Yeah.
And Tommy Reese played at Notre Dame. I mean, you know what I mean? It was he hated it. All right, I'll give you mine. Did you want to come in, Shawty? My bad. I meant to send that to him. Hold on real quick. Let me send it to Shawty real quick. Here we go.
But it's going to be interesting to see the teams overall. And I personally, the money from this playoff is going to be insane. I mean, because the viewership is going to be through the roof because you're going to have so many different teams that normally weren't in it. You're adding to more of that viewership and adding more to that money. That's why they did it, which makes sense for money-wise, obviously, for the viewership. This year's college football playoff is going to be nuts. Especially because I
think you could see success in the first round or whatever because you're gonna. Hey, listen, you're gonna have more teams in there, right? Woo! And in the last few years, we've seen some games that I mean, look, TCU beat freaking Michigan. How I'll never be able to tell you, but they did, right? Yeah. It is what it is. Washington should have never beaten Texas, and I'll tell you this. Is Texas a program that should be able to win the Natty? Yes, absolutely. They could recruit that well. They've got the NIL thing locked in.
They've got the dough. They got the facilities, everything they need.
This is about the rubber meeting the road when it comes to Steve Sarkisian. When he wins 10 games more than once or actually makes a real run at it, then I'll buy into the fact that he can do it. I haven't seen a full-on offensive coach win a Natty yet. Not without a nasty defense. You just haven't seen it happen. So when that happens, then and when it's Sark for that matter, I'll buy into it then. Right now, I'm not going to, but I'm going to tell you programs that I believe can win it right now. Georgia, of course. Alabama's still there. LSU's still there. Oklahoma, Texas. Yeah, Michigan, Ohio State. So I've got a total of 7 teams that are set to do it at the moment. Florida could make itself. I mean, right now they're not in the shape, but I believe
Florida don't have a shot.
That they can always do it. Florida State probably hanging on it. So I err more on the side. I'm closer to like 9 or 10 that theoretically could today. The more they don't, the less they have an opportunity. Clemson and Florida State. Clemson should still be able to, but if the money changes and Dabo doesn't change his ways, they're done. Okay? They're done. Florida State, same thing. If they don't get out of there and get into a situation money-wise that they're palatable with, they're done. And the Big 12, I'm sorry, guys, Utah is not, as much as I love Kyle Whittingham, they ain't got a shot.
No.
They might win a game.
They lost to Florida. They lost to Florida in the swamp. I mean,
right.
And again, I understand the brand wise and stuff like that, but when you look at teams overall, Florida don't have a shot. I mean,
no.
The way it is right now, they're going to have a coaching vacancy here after this year. I mean, he's going to get murdered.
Coaching, and even if you've got one of those coaches that you think, because I think that Whittingham, I am going to sleep on Cam Rising, dude. The guy's 50 years old,
and he can't stay healthy.
You know, I love him. I think the dude's he's a competitor, 100%. But in the end, they already do not recruit well enough to be able to play at that level. And getting up for one game is one thing. Maybe you could win one game in the playoff, and maybe you can win a New Year's Six Bowl over an Alabama team that isn't really paying that much of attention to it. And I don't want to dog Utah because, again, I think Kyle Whittingham is that dude. I think he's
a great coach. Yeah,
I think he would be that dude if he got the hell out of there. Right? Because and the same thing goes with Lance Leipold. Much as I like the dude, you're not going to win at Kansas.
But it's funny though. You realize between my list and your list, what's one team on that list that wasn't named, and it's a clear reason why? Well, multiple reasons why. Which team was that? And
I should have added it. I think Notre Dame is. I don't know.
I don't know.
Who is it?
USC. With everything USC has, and they still aren't on that list. Why?
Wow.
Because Lincoln Riley can't get it together.
Wow.
And look at the portal.
For no Oregon. Oregon doesn't have an opportunity to do it. USC doesn't have an opportunity to do it. I think that right now they could, but
I want to see Oregon one year. I want to see Oregon 1 year in the Big Ten.
USC's not in a position to do it because of where he kind of drove it. Now they're recruiting very well right now. It's not going to be good enough to win now.
I just think they're recruiting well, but they can't hold. They can't hold the guys there.
I think that's a mistake. With Lincoln Riley, I don't know that they ever do it, but I think that program-wise, SC should be able to do it.
And they should be, yeah.
So should Oregon. So to me, yeah, again, I still think that right now you're looking at 10 or 12, but this is going to go away, guys. This is all going away. It's not going to stay that way. Don't you think? I mean, I just don't see that as the money continues to separate out. We're talking about a couple of years at $40-50 million difference between an ACC school and a Big 10 school or a Big 12 school and an SEC school. You get into a couple of years, that's $100 million you couldn't put into paying those players. And that's just the revenue off of
but you're not using unless they become employees. If they could become employees, then yes.
Don't you think that's coming? Don't you think that has to come?
But then the question then goes to, if they go to employees, you got to start wondering which schools are able to do that. You know what I mean? And I agree it's going to happen. But I think there's going to be some teams in each one of these conferences that aren't going to they're going to ask to be out, because there's a lot of these schools that just don't have it. And they can get as much TV money as they want, but the other resources around it aren't going to help them.
Well, Texas has the hype that Texas has right now is insane. Well, yeah, but Texas has every resource they need.
Yeah,
and they just made the playoff in a 14 playoff.
Yeah,
if for no other reason, correct. If for no other reason, they can get in there. Here comes Shouty. Welcome to the show, Mr. Shouty from Just My Damn Opinion. What's up, my bro?
Gentlemen, how's it going, gentlemen?
Good.
Doing good.
We ready to hear what you're gonna tear us up here. Go for it. What up?
No, I don't know where we at. You know, I kind of came in a little, you know.
Okay, so you said 3 in the chat. 3 programs that could win a national championship. I'm closer to 10 or 11 that theoretically right now could. Now, I'm not talking about where they are necessarily today, but resources wise, recruiting wise, where they can be. I mean, I'm UGA, Bama, Ohio State, Michigan, Texas, Oklahoma, LSU, and that's not even including Oregon. That's not including USC. We just talked about that. We didn't say, neither one of us said them. Florida, Florida can flip it and get to that point. They're never going to be that team that can't do it because they're playing in the SEC. But I'm saying
this is what I would say.
Okay.
Jason,
no, I know you're probably saying team good enough to win today.
There you go. Because I was saying to your question, to answer your question.
Right.
I'm not. We're not asking who can make the playoffs. We asking who can actually win the national championship.
How many programs theoretically, whether or not they have the guys today or not, can they build a national champion now?
Oh, well, that sounds like two different questions. Then I mean, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, it was my fault. That was my fault. That was my fault for asking. Probably just kind of stupidly.
Yeah, I mean, if you say that, I would definitely open the field up more to. I mean, at that point, I would say at least 12 teams. Because hell, if you make the playoff, you got a shot at making the playoff. You got a shot.
Bullshit. That's not true.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, theoretically, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying theoretically. But if that was said to me, I take the question as this. And what's up, JJ? And to me, I take the question as this right here. How many teams do you think really have a shot in the next 4 to 5 years to win a national championship? I'm gonna say it's gonna be between 3 and 6 of the same teams in any different combination.
3 to 6 of a 12-team combination. You're saying,
right? 3. Yeah, you got 6 teams within the next 5 years in terms of building programs and where they are now. But between now and the next 5 years, that could win the national championship.
What their resources are, the kind of recruits they can get, that kind of stuff. That's what I'm kind of getting at. Where you can recruit, what kind of money you got to put into NIL now, whether you are or not, because Clemson and Florida State should be able to do it. It opens it up a little bit, but that doesn't stay open for very long if they don't get the hell out of the ACC. And
the thing I would say,
they get the automatic bid if they win the conference every year. So I mean, if as long as you're in the dance, things can get dicey. But
okay, maybe in the 14 playoff, but now that you got to win 4 games to win the shit, is it that? I mean, Cinderella's slipper's gonna fall off pretty quick, bro. You gotta get through that first one.
But that goes to the point of what we all like to say is about the more resources, meaning you generally going to have a deeper team.
Correct.
So it's like the rich get richer. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, certain people like take prime example, Florida State. I think you guys were talking about this previously on the show before I came in. Florida State was a prime team. They should have been a playoff team, but because of depth at the prime position. That's why they didn't make the playoffs. It had nothing to do with anything else. They lost a prime position and didn't have depth at that prime position
because they were building a mercenary program, and this is what I've been saying about them a lot. I feel like,
but let me ask you this: what if they had a 5-star? What if they had the number 1 recruited or rated quarterback as a 5-star? Who's the backup?
Again, what if I was married to Gwen Stefani? They don't. They're not getting that guy. You know what I mean? They got DJU, and I love him. I think DJU's a great pickup in the portal. They're not going to go get that guy. They didn't go get him whenever he was number 1 in the country as a freshman. Right? This is the point I'm making. You cannot just build solely through the portal. You can't.
Okay.
You've got to get, as well as I do, that you got to get the linemen on both sides of the football and bring them through your program.
Don't tell prime time that.
Yeah.
Well, he's trying to do whatever he can to build it quick. And I mean, look, it's a learning curve for everybody, and he's learning. You know what I mean? And I don't think that he's a terrible coach. I just think that because his kids are playing there, he's trying to put it in fast forward, and that's probably not going to work. Although the Big 12 isn't that damn good, guys. It's going to be a bunch of guys beating up on each other. Somebody said it in here earlier.
So do you have them above the
DJU's got a
ACC?
way bigger arm than Dylan Gabriel does. Way bigger arm. The problem that DJU had, and Coach I and Shawty will both tell you this, they haven't had receivers at Clemson. It's the same problem that they're having with Cade Klubnik too. They don't have receivers.
Yeah.
You got to go get those dudes, and they're not getting them. And, look, we don't have to talk about Clemson, but the point is there's guys that are out there that you can't, you can go get a quarterback. You can go get a good receiver or maybe a running back to fill in a spot. If you're relying on transfer guys at your left tackle or your defensive tackle position or your edge rusher, you're probably in deep shit because there's not that many of them out there.
Not good ones.
All right.
But I think for me personally, I give a little bit of lack and a little bit of slack, especially at the quarterback position. Because here's the thing: if Alabama, if what's this? I'm drawing a blank on Alabama's quarterback's name.
Uh,
Why am I drawing a blank?
The guy from last year that's coming back.
Yeah.
It's
and I'm drawing the blank.
I don't know what's going on with me tonight. It's kind of pissing me off. But still, but besides the point, okay. Milrow.
Milrows.
Jalen Milrow.
Let's say, for instance, he goes down before the college football playoff starts, and they're going into the last couple of games. Do you think Alabama wins those last two games without Jalen Milrows?
But you know what, JJ? I'm being a prick right here, but to Jason's point, I'm being a prick.
Good receivers.
To Jason's point, if I woulda, shoulda, coulda, you can't talk about all that because that's basically what Jason just said. All the ifs. That ain't where it happened. So why are we basically even talking about it? You see what I'm saying?
I'm talking about our conversation just on depth. We look at depth at each one of these positions. If you put each one of those teams in what happened to Florida State, probably the same thing happens. Can you imagine Michigan? Go look at Michigan. If J.J. McCarthy goes down, do you think they're national champions this year? And I know, coulda, shoulda, woulda. But if Jordan Travis doesn't get hurt, we don't have that conversation. I will say I'm not a Florida State guy, but their defensive line and offensive line were mauling people. I mean, they absolutely murdered LSU in the beginning of the year because their offensive line play and their defensive line play were just beating the ever-loving hell out of people. I mean, honestly, I honestly tried calling the White House asking for a murder scene because it was getting ugly for a while there. I think that team, especially too, you look at Florida State, they lost their quarterback, their offense was atrocious, but guess what? They won those games with that defense.
That defense, that defensive front was, man.
They're studs. I mean, they were damn good. So it just, and I understand why they didn't get in because when you look at it, obviously offense, whatnot, but just you look at Alabama against Michigan.
But JJ, that's when I brought up the question: what if they had a 5-star number 1 rated quarterback that was behind the guy that got hurt? But Jason shut me down. That's what I was saying about the if or woulda, shoulda, coulda stuff. That's the only reason I brought it up. But to your point, I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you shut me down, Jesse. Yeah, you shut me down.
That's not how I meant it to go, brother. I didn't mean to shut
you
you
it's
down.
All good. I'm terrible, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. But like the only team I can think of in the last 7 to 8 years that actually had a backup ready to go that won them a national title was Alabama when it was Jalen Hurts and Tua. That was it. Mm-hmm. If you look at any other school behind them, you throw a number 1 5-star, for instance, if Texas.
Hold on.
You can imagine Arch Manning in that? He'd have shit himself.
Well, no, we're not talking about Arch Manning because Arch Manning is only he's a 5-star in name only. Okay.
Yeah.
If his name was Smith, he'd be a freaking 3-star.
Yeah, that's what I said. Trust me, I watched this film.
Well, hold on. When Trevor Lawrence was there, and DJ, when he got hurt, DJ, you could have won it. He completed 67% when he had those receivers. Sooner Cowboys. When he had those receivers and had that offensive line and had those running backs at Clemson, he went in and broke a freaking record at Notre Dame in one of the best games of the season. When Trevor got hurt, they were in position to win the Natty, and he looks just as good. We're not talking. There's sometimes that you have it, sometimes you don't. Oklahoma, look, when they had, I don't know that I believe in Spencer Rattler so much, but he had Caleb Williams right behind him. Sometimes they got him. With what I saw out of Carson Beck last year, had you had an injury issue 2 years ago, they would have been fine.
That's 2 years of less of development.
Not last year, though.
Hold on, though. Come on. Don't tell me Carson Beck's not better than that little shit.
No. I agree with you. I'm saying we would have had an injury last year. We would have been in a bad spot. 2 years ago, yes, but last year, like this current year, we couldn't afford the injury.
This current year, you wouldn't have been. Really? You don't like old boy that went to Kentucky at all, huh? I guess
it's a reason why he going to Kentucky.
Well, he definitely wasn't gonna wait around any longer.
He probably wasn't gonna get a shot.
He probably wasn't.
He was.
I'm gonna tell you something. The guys who we currently have. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna ask, at what point, when are they gonna stop losing these good quarterbacks in recruiting there at UGA, man? Because they keep slipping lately.
Well, this is the thing. Go ahead, JJ.
I'm just the only reason why, honestly, I'm not concerned about Georgia.
They don't win it with quarterbacks, really.
Dog, it's not even just that. It's not even just that. Just Kirby's a different dude, and I think when you have a massive leader like that leading the program,
I'm more busting Shotty's balls than anything, because I know Georgia's all that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Look, all I'm asking is, here's the deal, we've kind of gotten way away from the topic. Yeah. Let's go back to the original question and go back to where you were at 3. Who are there 3 that could win it this year with the guys that they have? If you're saying 3, JJ, you said 3 to 6.
3 to 6, yeah.
Who are your 3, Shotty?
That's where I'm at, about 3 to 6. That could win it this particular year.
Right now, 24.
Yep. In a 12-team playoffs.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I say 3 to 6 teams. I'm gonna go Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama.
Yep.
Michigan.
Yep.
How many is that?
That's 4.
Because I have
2 more.
Michigan's good enough to win it this year with all.
Yeah, just because. And parties had to understand. Parties had to do it. I don't want to say politics, but just because of standings. Because if you beat Ohio State, you win your conference. You got a great shot to be positioned to win it. So a lot of it's a lot of big things. But the normal names though, the normal 4 or 5 general every teams. I think I gave you 4. If I had to go outside the box, I say not necessarily outside the box. Big 12 with the way that it's arranged now. Oregon maybe.
Oregon's not in the Big 10.
Big 10.
Oregon's in the Big 10.
Shit. Damn, Jason. So I don't know.
I mean, you can still have them in there because at large bids, you can still have them in there.
Look, I think that they're one of the top 2 favorites to win the Big 10 with what they have.
Yeah,
I don't really think that. I'm not saying that he's a terrible coach, but Dan Lanning hasn't shown me shit.
You know what? I can't give you no more than 4. Like, just got a serious shot. After that point, it's just like anybody else. After that, it's kind of like
Oklahoma or Texas. And
I apologize. I did say Texas. I'm sorry. I said Texas. I gave you Texas in my thing. I think Texas. Yeah. Matter of fact, Texas was one of them.
OSU, Bama, Michigan.
And so I had Texas in there. I promise you I got Texas. I need to look at my text. Okay, so I want to put Texas in there. I apologize. So Texas would be 5. I apologize.
Okay. No Oregon. You don't believe in Dan Lanning either.
No, what has he done?
I agree.
Like when it comes to the big games, you know what I'm saying?
They do have your boy Dylan Gabriel.
I think that helps a lot. I think that actually, I'm gonna tell you what. I think that I don't want to say that fast tracks their program, but that definitely keeps them on a trajectory. Without DG, they probably taking a step back.
Mm-hmm. So
like
Texas
that actually bought Dan Lanning some time.
Not the team that beat Texas, as Kyle says. Okay. All right. I got you. So we'll throw Oregon in there. No Oklahoma. So there's shoddy. He's got Georgia, Oklahoma, or Ohio State.
Not the team that beat Texas. So is Kyle referring to Washington?
He's referring to Oklahoma, who's won 6 out of 7 Texas, by the way. 6 out of 7. 6 out of 7. Bama, Michigan, Texas, and Oregon. Those are shoddy teams. JJ, give me your.
Hey, Sooner, Texas. You got to take the good with the bad. I'm sorry, Jason. What is that? Is it Sooner in Texas? You got to take the good with the bad, brother.
You knew you were gonna get that from him, bro. You knew you were.
Yeah.
So we can give him shit, but it is what it is. Yeah. All right. Make sure to give him all kinds of shit all day long. Here we go. All right. Yeah. I don't know that I do either, but okay, JJ. Give me your teams that could win it this year because of what they have right now.
Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan.
You think that? You think they're good enough to win it this year?
Yeah. Dude, they're built up front, brother. I'm telling you. If there's one thing about Michigan,
they will run your ass
up
over.
Front.
They are built like that. They are built like, dogs.
And I think to be honest with you, who they hired for their head coach, obviously Sharon. I think he's a damn good coach. I think what he was able to do.
He's Oklahoma boy, man. We love him.
And JJ, I'm gonna tell you what, I think they're gonna be better, like more explosive and athletic at the running back position this year.
Yeah, because one, they got Donovan Edwards coming back. He's coming back this year, and they have that other. He was a 4-star, almost a 5-star recruit. I can't remember what the hell his name is, but he's an absolute stud. I like him a lot. But again, they're just built up front. I like their defensive front and their offensive front. They're just known for it. But the last two, what did I say? Georgia, Alabama. Ohio State, Ohio State, Michigan, Florida State, and then I'm going to give. I had LSU in there, but I'm going to switch LSU and I'm going to put Texas in there because they still got yours there.
I know Jason.
And the only reason why I will say this, the only reason why I don't have Oklahoma in there because quarterback room. I think that we got to see these guys play first. That's it.
Oh shit! Now you started some shit. All right, here we go.
But realistically though, Jason, to JJ point, and I'm not hating on Oklahoma, but we're talking about people who win the national championship. You think y'all have a shot at winning the Natty?
If Gabriel was there,
if you get good quarterback play from Jackson Arnold, which was a Elite 11 winning 5-star quarterback, absolutely, and you also have you got a freshman kid. We talked about him all last night on the show. That his dad was a 12-year veteran. He's been working with Kyler Murray's dad. The dude is already polished as a freshman.
His dad ain't playing.
What's the body of work?
His dad ain't playing.
Hold on.
Right, his dad ain't playing no games either.
Hold on. He's accurate. He's fast as shit, and he's polished already. He's working with look.
So where does Oklahoma where does Oklahoma fall on your list?
Hold on. They're in there. They're in it. They're in it.
Where they fall?
I've already. How many times do I got to tell you? I'm at 10-2. They're going to make the playoff.
No. I'm talking about. We talking about a team that's going to win the national championship this year. You saying that? So what? So, okay, I just give us your team. I'm sorry. I apologize. I want to hear your team. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I think just like you guys have Bama, Georgia. I don't know that Bama's really there this year. I don't know that they got the trigger man in that offense to be able to do it. And they're going to have to rely on a guy that's coming from Washington and he's been in the system if Milroe doesn't get it together, and he's not a super accurate guy. And this is a passing offense. It's not the same thing. On top of that, they don't.
Maybe the coach is just to Milroe though.
Huh? Okay, but they
I said maybe the coach adjusts to Miro's skill set.
Maybe he does, right? Maybe he does. But their defense, not the Alabama defense that we know. Not saying they don't have talent, but they don't have none of the staff really.
I think they improved their staff. I'm going to be honest with you. I think they improved their staff. Now, if Jalen Milrose is going to be their quarterback, and I think it's Will Howard they picked up or somebody, I can't remember who they picked up.
Their staff when Nick Saban ran the defense, bro. Come on,
brother. I'm telling you, I think they made some critical moves on defense that were needed. You know, especially too when you look at their obviously on offense, it's a home run. They're going to be better on offense.
Okay,
because their offense was absolutely horrendous last year. They were lucky to get through there as much as they did.
If I'm betting on anybody, it's not Alabama this year. I think next year maybe, right? I just don't see you changing Milroe into the kind of guy that you got. And on top of that, they lost their best tight end. They lost their best receiver. They got a hell of a guy coming in as a freshman. That he was a back-to-back Mr. Football in Alabama. Unbelievable, right?
Yeah, the kid's a freak of nature, yeah.
But
I see what you're saying there.
Yeah. I just have
a
hard time.
I only heard 3 teams.
So far, you've only heard 2. You've only heard UGA because I really think that Ohio State is the team out of the Big Ten that can get it done. I don't trust Dan Lanning until he does it either, even though I think DG is a nice add there. I don't know that he's better than Bo Nix, really. Maybe he is.
DG? I think DG is. Well, I can tell you this.
Hold on, though, but
if Oklahoma
still had unbelievable seasons, brother.
If Oklahoma still had DG, I would have Oklahoma in my list of teams that would win a natty because I've seen the body of work. I think he's
agree.
That good.
Hold on.
I agree.
I'm just telling you.
I agree.
The body of work. I think he's that good.
I love DG. You guys know I love DG. I'm not dissing DG. DG doesn't have what the guys that are coming in have that they can make the plays that he didn't make at times when they needed him to make them. Now,
Jason,
does this guy put him in a better position than Levy did at certain times last year? Possibly. Okay, possibly so. Because
JJ, you don't know what you're missing till they're gone.
DG is a lot like Dollar General. It's got everything I need. That's all I know. That's all I'm saying.
I know exactly what the hell that means. That means you like the cheap shit.
Oh no, it's finding the diamonds in the rough for a good price.
You're dissing DG. Why you got to diss my boy? No, I'm just messing with you. Look, I love Dylan Gabriel, bro. He's a guy that and I know that they get a bad rep for this being said, but game manager, and he's not dynamic. A guy that can go and hit that throw.
Manager, he led the conference. How you a game? You know it. Okay.
I think he's.
How do you know damn well what we're talking about? He missed downfield throws way too often.
So you worry about what he missed as opposed to where he hit. He led over 5.
You know what? You know when he missed? He missed in those games that he lost to Kansas and Oklahoma State.
I will say this: Oklahoma's offense was in the top 10.
I'm just saying. Top 5.
Top 5. No, they were top 5. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They were top 5.
Guys.
In the nation.
And I'm a Brent Venables guy, but maybe the defense should have maybe made a couple more damn stops.
No doubt about it. They needed to make more stops. But
I know. I love
you
DG,
know good and well. First off, I'm not going to talk about the Oklahoma State game because that was a bullshit deal anyway. But the Kansas game, the Kansas game was a god awful game plan. He threw the ball 16 times because of rain or whatever. Levy got in his own way at times and didn't call great games. And sometimes you can put your defense in not great positions, and they had some injuries towards the end. They gave up 35 a game for the last 5. That was definitely an issue. And I'm not blaming it on Dylan Gabriel, just so we understand.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need him to step up and make a play when the pressure's on, and we didn't get that sometimes from him. And in fact, the 6 games that they lost or 7 games that they lost the first year, 5 of them were by 1 score, and he didn't make those plays then either.
I don't know.
What was your lowest scoring game?
Probably Kansas. Yeah.
What did you score?
Off the top of my head, it was like what 20 points or something. It wasn't good, you know.
Come on, man. You mean tell me that the least you scored was 20 points? You only lost two games. You only lost two games that season. Your offense was never the problem, bro.
38-33. 38-33 was the final.
33 was your lowest.
Hold on. Dylan Gabriel threw the ball 19 times total. 171 and a pick.
It don't matter. You scored 30 points. You scored 30.
They scored some of it came off of defensive touchdowns. You had 2 defensive touchdowns in the game, Fraudy.
Dude, you're making me laugh too much, dog. You gotta stop. Oh my god.
Two.
I just loved it. He just got. I think we scored 20 points. Wait, no, we lost 38-33. You scored 33 damn points and you lost.
Okay.
I get it if someone was on the defense, but I'm just saying offense wasn't a problem, right? You know, I don't want to rehash it. I get it. You know,
shut up. And I'm not.
You said the worst game you had, you scored 30 points, and offense was the problem. That's sad, that's a good problem to have, I guess. I don't know.
First and foremost, yeah, it is a good problem to have. But and don't get me wrong, Lance Leipold, look, the way that they block it up and they do certain things, they definitely put in. Danny Stutzman was out injured there. That was a key. There was a lot of things that happened in that game. What I'm telling you is there was some uneven play calling. We talked about it the entire season. I'm not going to stay in this on talking about this. I'm telling you, I don't know that freaking you're going to get a whole lot of different out of Dylan. We're not going to see him take a big step forward in year 7. We know what he is now. He's not going to be the guy that's going to win the game for
500 yards of offense. That's what we know he is.
He didn't have 500 yards of offense in either of the games that they lost last year. I'm going to tell you that.
But what I'm saying is the reason why I don't
step up and win. He didn't do it.
But we haven't seen that. We haven't seen Jackson Arnold play yet. That's the only question. Like in my mind, I haven't seen.
We saw him in the bowl game have some turnovers, but we also saw him make some throws that you've never seen Dylan Gabriel make ever. And won't. I'm not saying that he's not going to have some growing pains because he probably will. And if they have a better defense, that's definitely going to behoove him. And they will have a better defense. They do. They already have a better defense. But that being said, ceiling-wise, we've seen Dylan Gabriel bang his head on the ceiling. That's where he's at. You're going to have to get more out of Oregon than just from him. If Dante Moore's not ready to come in because he's got real arm talent, but he throws a lot of interceptions. Right? Maybe this is going to be a good year for them or whatever, but it's going to take somebody other than Dylan Gabriel to do it when you get down to championship winning time. I don't see Oregon being the team. I think it's Ohio State in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Michigan has an opportunity. I think this might be Penn State's chance.
Oh no! Would you quit your shit? Not Jimmy Franklin.
You're gonna hate hearing that shit.
Dude, Jimmy Franklin, are you kidding me? They threw for 30 passing yards against Ohio State. 30 passing yards. Drew Aller was more like Drew Turnover.
Yeah, Sooner Cowboys is right.
I think Oregon positioned themselves better than Penn State in the Big 12.
Just so we get there, I went to the 20-point game. Yes, I did. The 20-point game the Cincinnati game. I was there. They only scored 20 in that one. I don't know that was really about Dylan Gabriel either. I think that a lot had to do with the shitty way that they freaking called that game. But at that point, the defense was stepping up. They were giving up yards between the 20s, but they weren't doing much else. And what a great place to go watch a game, by the way, at Nippert Stadium. What a cool place to watch. Cool place. 20-6. Yeah, you're right, guys. Okay. Let me see.
Hey, I thank you for helping Jason out, cause that 30-point shit was.
You guys are sitting here.
That is a memorable
Hey.
moment for me being on here. I love coming on here, but that was a memorable moment. I think we scored 20 points. Oh, okay. No. The lowest one we had was 33.
Didn't have his best
damn points.
The point is, he didn't win the game for him, and he had 171 yards in that damn game and an interception. He didn't have a touchdown. He had a fucking interception.
The interception led to 33 points.
No, and he did have a touchdown run. But listen, bottom line is, sometimes you got to go win games. You tell me that I'm wrong.
No, you're right. I'm just telling you. I'm just saying he certainly had to go and win it. But there are some of those games, and I'm a Brent Venables guy. I just think that his defense will be a lot better this year. But for me, if Jackson Darnold plays the way I think he's going to play, I think there'll be some growing pains this year. They'll still win. I think they're still going to win 10-plus games. But I think at this point in 2025, that's when I throw him in there, because then Jackson Darnold has that experience.
Well, I think their best opportunity to win one is in 2025, but I wouldn't put it past. I think they're a dark horse to win it. And I'm saying they're a dark horse, but they could. Will they? Probably not going to win it, but I would put them in over Texas.
I don't know.
Let me tell you why.
But honestly, the playoffs have changed. The playoff have changed the possession.
Hold on. You guys want to sit here and talk about that? What the hell have we seen out of Quinn Ewers? And he just lost all those combine first rounders. They gone. Now they brought in Amari Niblack.
Yeah.
All right. They brought in the kid from the other receiver from there too.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name.
Oh shit, man! I had it right here just earlier. I got it here.
Well, I was just gonna say, you guys keep talking about 2025. I'm gonna be honest with you, with the way the playoffs 12-team playoff has changed the perception.
We're gonna diss Texas right now, and y'all are gonna hear it, and I don't want to hear shit else. Let me finish. Damn it! This is my fucking show.
Let me finish my monologue. God damn it!
It's my motherfucking show. All right, look.
Texas sucks. Hey, man.
Texas sucks. No. All right. They lost their D-line. Sweat. They lost their D-line. They've got one guy coming in that he was at Arizona. That's the best guy they got coming in that isn't a freshman. Colin Simmons. Maybe he's good on the edge. He was good in high school, but he's a freshman. True freshman. Their secondary, I heard Nino talking today that he thinks they're going to be real good, but that's all expecting a bunch of guys that haven't been at Texas, and Texas hasn't been good in the secondary in a while. They couldn't. That was the biggest place that they had a hole last year was in the secondary, but now they don't have a defensive line or a defensive line coach. They got a new guy there. Bo Davis is gone. Their best running back, gone. Xavier Worthy, gone. A.D. Mitchell, gone. J.T. Sanders, gone. I mean, look, I like Niblack, and I like some of the receivers they brought in. But when do we get to see Quinn Ewers? I mean, we haven't even seen Quinn Ewers do anything. He beat Alabama that couldn't. They almost got their ass kicked at that time of the year.
How many games did Texas win last year?
They won 11.
That's what matters.
Okay. They lost to Oklahoma. And they lost to Oklahoma getting
how many games did Oklahoma win last year?
They won 10.
Which is more? No, which is more? 11 or 10?
Who won the game head to head? Who won the
game? So you don't want to answer that question, which is more? You don't want to answer the which is more question?
You don't need me to answer the question. You know the answer to it. But let me ask you this. Oklahoma has more guys coming back, and they've got a better defense coming back. They've got more defensive guys coming back than anybody in the freaking conference. More defensive run. They've got Danny Stutzman, who's, already coming in as a preseason All-American. We're going to see what happens. But all of a sudden, you're going to tell me that all these guys in the portal are just going to gel together because they're fucking Texas and they're going to get it done. I love it, guys, that y'all are going to give me this shit, but I'm going to tell you bullshit. The dudes have won one conference championship in 15 years.
I just love what you're going. That's right. I love it. Dude,
15 years. And they still lost to Oklahoma.
I hear you. Trust me.
And year 3 with Brent Venables' defenses, he's going to have a top 10 defense. Watch it happen and then see what happens. OU has every reason to not win as many games as Texas even again this year because of that soft-ass training wheel schedule they got. But watch them fuck it off anyways. Watch them fuck it off anyways. That's all.
That would not shock me. That would not shock me, though.
You told me 2 weeks ago that they were going to lose 4 games. Now you're telling me they got a chance to win it all. I don't know where you're coming from, JJ.
Because I like some of the portal additions, man. You know what? They're just things are bigger in Texas, man. That's what it is, you know.
Oh my god.
Finally, a blind squirrel finds a nut. A broken clock is finally right twice a day. Oh, joy it be that the brand has finally returned. Your brand. The brand has finally returned. Your brand.
I love it.
Fuck Texas. All right.
Hey Jason. At the end of the day, I still didn't get your teams. You only gave me 3.
Yeah. Hey, before you
can win
before
it
you
this
get the
year?
3, I got to jump off.
All right, JJ.
Yeah,
we appreciate you coming in. Let everybody know how to find you. And again, congratulations on your 1,000 subs, man. I think you may have just lost 10 right now, but hey.
Hey, now this is prime time television is what this is. So you're all welcome. But hey, again, you guys are the best. Follow me on Talking College Football with JJ Kitchen. Guys, there is no better show on the internet. I can tell you that right now, man. It's always a pleasure. That's why I was so happy to be on here, man. I missed it. I was glad, Jason, you hit me up. Guys, you're the best. Hit the like button.
We love having you on.
And I'll see you guys next time. Shawty, I'll see you next time, brother.
Man, we enjoyed having you on, brother. Thanks for coming in.
All right.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Later. All right. And then there were 2. Shawty, now it's your ass. Here we go. All right. Don't unsubscribe from JJ, man. He's our boy. We love JJ. And he can take it off. Hey, man, we all give each other shit. All right. The other teams that I think could win it, I don't know. I don't know that I believe Michigan can win it this year. Maybe they can. I think Ohio State, with who they added, man, their secondary is fucking loaded.
But if you take Michigan, you got to put somebody like Oregon in. You got to put somebody else in there.
Well, there's going to be 3 in. I think that Penn State probably gets in the playoff. That doesn't mean that I think they can win a natty.
Right, fair enough. Okay.
I don't think they can win a natty until I would never think that they're going to win one until they did it.
Well, I just assume that someone. I just assume someone from the Big 12 you would consider at least 2 teams that would have a serious shot to win it from the Big 12, whether it be Ohio State and Michigan or Ohio State and Oregon.
Well, I think that Oregon's going to get in. I think that they're good enough that who's going to beat them, right? Maybe Ohio. I think Ohio State wins them. I think they beat them. I think the possibility that they could maybe lose to. I can't say it. I can't even say it. I'm not going to say this shit. I think Oregon could lose a couple of games, still play for the conference championship, and make the playoff. I don't think they win it, right? I just don't think they win it. But I do think they're pretty good.
Yeah.
I think Ohio State is good enough to win the whole thing if they get decent quarterback play, because I think they may have the best defense in the country.
And that's their biggest issue, Jason, quarterback play.
Well, yeah, it has been. But okay, so let's say, and not to say that I really trust in Will Howard. He had his moments, but he didn't have the kind of guy coaching him up though that he's got in Chip Kelly and Ryan Day either. I don't know that it's him though. They've got Aaron Nolan. They've got they've got the kid that was the backup last year that they love him. You know, if you listen to any of those guys, like, you know, that Smith dude or whatever, they all love him. We'll see what happens. But I don't think that they also have a two-headed monster at running back, and they've got top 2 receiving room in the country. You know what I mean?
And you know, and they spent a lot of money this off season.
Yeah, they sure shit did. They went and got that Texas A&M athletic director that opened the pocketbook. What? Right? I just think it is what it is. I think that, I think they have a chance. I think Georgia absolutely has a chance to win it. If I had a dark horse, I don't know what LSU is. I think if Nussmeier's good, and all they have to do is be and they went crazy. Look, the athletes that they had there, they weren't running a very good scheme. You know that on defense. When you got your best guy that got 12 sacks or 11 sacks as a damn true freshman, and you make him play basically cheater, defensive back almost, what the fuck were they doing? That's why they fired them all.
Okay.
Now they brought in a good defensive coordinator.
So you don't give me 3 teams.
No, I think Oklahoma's got an opportunity. There's 4.
Okay. All right.
Let me see if I don't believe in Florida State, man. Maybe Florida State, but I don't think so. I don't think that they can win it. I just don't think you can build that much in the portal in 1 year to win the whole damn thing.
But just in terms of where they are positioned schedule-wise, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of these things, a lot of this has you have to take a
schedule-wise. Texas doesn't have. Here's the thing I'm going to tell you about Texas. They don't have an excuse.
No, they don't. No, that's why you almost want to put
Oklahoma and Georgia in the middle of the season. They finish off with like the best team they play the rest of the way is A&M.
No, to your point, what I'm saying is, to your point, I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. That's the only reason I put Texas in there is because of their schedule. That's what I'm saying. I'm taking everything into consideration. I think because of Florida State's schedule, they may have a better shot at playing for the whole thing just because of their schedule, and they may get a bye, which, you know, y'all may not like the buys or may not cause a big thing, but I'm just saying because of their schedule, they may be positioned to have a better shot than Oklahoma. Oklahoma has a way tougher schedule and path.
But it's actually with the bye game, the only time that you don't have a decent area for your buys and like your bad games is the last 2 games. You go home to Alabama, then you go on the road to LSU. Before the Texas game, you got to bye. Before the Alabama game, you got to buy, and then or the Missouri game, one of the two. And then the other one, you play I think they play Maine. What's up there, Brinsky? What's up there, man? Yeah, look. In fact, why don't you jump in here real quick, there, sharpshooter? Let me shoot you this real quick because I want to ask you who you think, and I know you got something to say. I'm sending it to your Twitter right now. Go ahead. Come on in. Get ready.
Get some of this action.
Okay, yeah. FSU had an exodus after they were left out. Right. So assuming that they did go in and get some of those guys from Alabama. They were one of the programs that like really benefited from what Bama lost. Them Texas, and then of course Ohio State. Look, I'm so glad that Georgia didn't get all those guys. I got to tell you, really glad that Caleb Downs did not end up in Athens.
So, you know, and Jason, and then what I'd be saying, you know, I don't want to get on this. I'm not trying to
Kirby Smart to win a hell of a lot more than I trust Ryan Day to win.
So, and what I was gonna say is, I don't want to get into this. I don't want to I'm not shifting gears or changing subjects, but I want to say this. That's a prime example. Is what I say is that's what I mean about the NIL. That's why I don't want no rules and no constraints on it, because what I'm saying is nobody is immune to it. Even we have to deal with players leaving, going to other places. We lost a top. Yeah, so I'm saying it's no different. No matter what kind of rules you put in place, we're gonna still, the top teams are still gonna go in and break whatever rules there are. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Who doesn't understand, Shabuti? Who are you talking about?
Shabuti.
Talked a lot of smack on the comment section lately.
Did somebody say Texas would lose to Kentucky this year? Really? You that bad on Texas?
Texas lose to who? What?
Say Texas is gonna lose to Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
I don't know about that one.
I'm not saying that. I think they're gonna lose. I think they could lose to Michigan early in the season because it's at the big house. I think they lose to Oklahoma, and I'm pretty sure they're going to lose to Georgia. Yeah, but their conference schedule is trash. Great trash. What's up, Brinsky Sharp?
What's going on, everybody?
What you on the expressway?
Yeah. Oh no, man. I'm at home. Y'all probably hearing that
put your video
AC unit. Huh?
Put your video on.
Oh man, I'm laying down, man.
I'm getting sick of you guys with that shit.
I'm sorry, man. I just got finished party, man. I'm tired as
hell. Yeah. Texas lost to Arkansas. Look, man. I'm a happy little who you want me to sing and dance, pay me that back. Oh, look, I'm with you, man. They're that non-conference game, but that's really the only look, man. They get Vanderbilt and Mississippi State and Florida at home. The only games in the conference that they played a good team out of the half is Oklahoma and Georgia. That's it.
That's 3 bad teams, and one of those coaches is gonna probably be fired.
If he doesn't win 10 games, I think he's got a lot to answer for. I think he's got a lot to answer for. That's just me. Brinsky, what do you think about Texas?
Oh, it's gonna be a big year for sure. It's gonna really tell a lot, and they pretty much have a favorable schedule. And don't they play Michigan like the first week or the second week or something like that? I'm asking.
Yeah, no, they could lose. No,
I don't
ask again. What'd you say?
No, I'm saying, don't they play?
They do. Yeah, they do.
They play Arkansas and Texas A&M. Those are probably their tougher.
They got Michigan on the schedule. That's what he was asking.
Oh, yeah, Michigan, but I don't see them losing to Michigan.
But it's at the big house. It's at the big house, though.
I still don't see them losing. Michigan lost way too much.
I don't know that they have an excuse to lose, but I could see them losing it.
If they lose, that's not a good look. I can promise you.
Not a good look. But if they lose that, then what do you think is going to happen when they go up against Oklahoma and then Georgia? Even though they get Georgia at home, I think Georgia's going to roll their ass.
Do they play Georgia? Yes. Yeah, they play Georgia at home. Oh, that's intriguing, but that one gonna be at home, so it's different, man. You know how
if Texas beats Michigan, they're gonna freaking be it's gonna be blowjobs for days. That's all you're gonna hear.
Oh man, if they beat Georgia, man, you can't tell them nothing. But I don't see it. I don't see Quinn even being healthy.
Look, I asked Nino today on his live show. I said, what do they have to do to take the next step? And he said, we got to see Quinn be the guy. We haven't seen that yet. Yep. We've seen bits and pieces. We saw him look pretty good against Alabama. And Alabama wasn't the same team at that time as they ended up being at the end of the year. but we saw him play pretty good there. He gagged his ass off against Oklahoma. Deer in the headlights. Starts off the game with 2 interceptions.
Hell, the game that nobody talks about last year.
And they barely got away from Houston.
Shit, they got they were struggling against Wyoming. They almost lost against Wyoming that a lot of folks do not talk about.
Kansas State screwed up freaking. They handed in the game freaking twice, and K-State jacked it up.
And that's why I don't. And to this day, y'all, the way you feel about Mike Gundy, is the way I feel about Will Howard.
Bro, listen, man, Texas has been recruiting at an extraordinary rate. We have to also take this in consideration. They may have players around Quentin Ewers where he may not have to be that guy because, he might just have to control, them to be a game manager.
You think that's going to work? You think that's going to work?
No, I'm not. Well, they damn good. They was in the semifinals last year, and he wasn't great.
And he was a deer in the headlights there too. Bro, he needs to come
Washington was trying to give him the win. They was trying their hardest to get him into that.
Boy. Well, I think that was weird. That if it hadn't been for the guy getting hurt, then they would have ran the clock out. That was weird. Yeah. That was so weird.
Yeah, it was a terrible time.
Houston had them beat though. Look, they got away with a couple. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Hey, Shawty, 10 years Sark's been a head coach. For 10 years. He's won 10 games once. Last year. That's it.
But I think that time.
But 6 months ago, but where was the term before that? He couldn't do it. All I'm saying is you only as good as your last season. Where have you done for me lately?
Never happened.
Texas, I'm not a Texas fan, but Texas has positioned themselves. Man, Texas has positioned themselves very well, man.
Quinn has never made it through a full season as a starter. And you got Arch Manning coming in, not the cyborg now.
I'm not talking about Quinn. I'm talking about Texas. Texas has positioned themselves very well. They just played in the.
Did you not hear what I said about that defense? They lost their best two. They lost their defensive line and their D-line coach to LSU. They replaced some bad. They replaced a bad secondary with transfer guys, and you hope that it comes together. But they lost the best probably the best linebacker in the conference.
Yeah, I'm not advocating for Texas. I don't even want to be trying to sound like I'm. I'm just speaking. Folks, they have positioned themselves very. You can't. You saying I'm speaking facts. Everything I'm saying is facts. You're talking about speculation with me. They just played in the semifinals. They have a top 5 recruiting class. Yeah. But everybody lost other than the top 4 teams that played in it.
So what's going to happen when? Let me ask you this though: what if they aren't as good on the defensive line as they were even in the Big 12 last year? How is that going to affect them in the SEC? You guys talk about this all the time. What's it going to look like against Georgia's ass? What's he going to do against Georgia? They're not going to get back. They're going to.
I didn't know they were rhetorical, or I didn't know. No, I'm not. All I'm saying is this right here: Texas program coming into the SEC. No matter how you want to look at it, turn it whatever. Texas is a top 4 program right now coming into the SEC.
In what way?
And as a top.
In what way? Because they went to the playoff?
Well, So you don't think they're a top 4 program in the SEC?
If you're saying they're a top 4, that means that you're not saying Georgia is, because Georgia didn't make the playoff.
That makes no sense. What you're talking about makes no sense.
Brother, they have less than the same team than what Georgia has, and Georgia.
No, what you're trying to do is quantify the top program on who made the playoff last year. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Texas coming into our conference, meaning the SEC, which is their conference too now at this point. They are a top 4 SEC program in terms of football right now. And if you saying they're not, tell me what 4 teams are better than them right now in football.
According to everybody, well, Georgia, Oklahoma's got a better defense. Oklahoma has.
How is Oklahoma better than Texas? In Texas, I'm gonna let you. I ain't gonna say. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Deepest receiver room in the country. They have more returning on defense and a better incoming class on defense than anything that Texas has. And I'm sorry, bro, but Quinn Ewers has not proven that he's that guy. They needed that defense to win for them a lot. Sweat and the other guy, what's the other dude's name that's off that D line?
I forgot. Just
so Brinsky and Jason. I'm gonna ask you this. Now Vegas been doing this for a very long time. So even Vegas.
I lived in Vegas for 15 years.
I'm not saying that they get it right. I'm just saying they're generally not too far off. All I'm saying is this right here. Texas and Oklahoma.
Here's what they do. They put the number out there that gets the most action, bro. That's what Vegas is there for. It's not about what's right and wrong. It's about the number that brings the most action and the most money to the damn sports book. Don't give me that shit. Especially when it comes to this particular matter. I know that's what they do. But what I'm going to say is this right here. All I'm saying is, at the end of the day, I think most people have Texas in a better position to win more games than Oklahoma this year, right? Because they play. Is
that fair to say?
That's all you got. That's the only thing that you can say, though. The rest of it, they're not better than Oklahoma anywhere. Where are they better? Where are they better?
Nobody knows until we play the game. All of this is speculation, and you know what I'm saying. So I'm just saying we can only go up. I'm saying what I'm talking about is we can only go off the best information. No, we can only go off the best information that we currently have, and the best information that we currently have, everybody has Texas winning more games than Oklahoma.
That don't make it right. Everybody picks Texas to beat OU every year too. It don't always happen. I'm telling you.
I'm not saying that it's right or wrong.
Oklahoma's going to not lose more than 3. They're not going to lose more than 3. And I'm telling you, Texas is going to lose at least 3. They're not winning 10 again.
Let me ask you this. Hey, Jason, do y'all beat Missouri?
Yes. Oh, yeah, dude. We're
guess what? Guess what? That don't make it right. That don't make it right because you said it.
Okay.
Know what I'm saying?
You want to put some money on it? You want to put some money on it?
I made my point last night about this, and I already said
kicked out of here again.
I just have to go ahead and say it.
All right, which one of you guys want to throw some money on it?
No, man. I was just talking shit on that.
I know you were. So that's what I'm saying. Shawty, you just talking
Yeah,
shit.
no,
You wanna
yeah,
put some money
no,
in it.
yeah. I was just talking shit. All I was
You wanna
saying is
throw a
just
bill
at the
on
end of
that?
the day,
You
I'm
wanna
just
throw a
going off
bill
of
on
where
that? Let's throw a bill on it. Let's throw a bill on it.
no
Anybody
way
knows.
to do that would be unfair because I'm be honest with you, I have no clue right now
What does that
at this
mean?
stage. I
Okay.
think Oklahoma, if you ask me, I think Oklahoma at this point, if you ask me, knowing what I know, I think Oklahoma is in a better position than Missouri in the conference for sure. If you want to ask
Yeah.
me, now I can answer that question. For sure.
Okay, so okay, that's one of their quote unquote losses. Who else? Who else you got? If you're going to beat Alabama, it's probably going to be this year at home. You know, they're kind of reeling from Saban being gone. If you're going to get them, this would probably be the time to do it.
But that don't mean you're gonna do it.
Could be one of the losses. Could be one of the losses. I think they're possible. The losses that I could see them having are going to be LSU, Ole Miss, Bama.
Jason, I'm gonna tell you what. See, this is where the trick come in at.
They're going to be
You can have. Then where the trick come in, you can have four losses, but where the trick come in is that you don't see you losing to all four of those games. So that's where the play in the words come in, the trick come in it. You technically could lose to 4 teams, but when you look at a certain way,
I just said 3. I don't think.
Okay, even 3.
I think they're probably going 10-2. I could see 9-3. If you want to throw a fourth one in there, I mean,
I like 9-3.
I think 9-3 is.
I think they're about the safest bet.
Yeah, but I also think.
But if somebody asked a question, you could lose 4 or 5 games if you asked a question.
Which ones do you really? I don't think so. If Tennessee's going to have to be,
but not likely. Not likely. It's not likely to happen. Yeah. But I'm just saying, when you ask the question, it could.
I think you might be able to pick out 4 or maybe pick out 5. I think that they maybe lose 3 of those at most. I really think they lose 2, but that's just me.
I got us at 9-3, but more than realistically, I think we would probably go 11-1.
Jesus.
Yeah, know what I'm saying, but we could lose 2 more. I'm just saying, but we could lose 2 other games. That's what I'm saying. If you ask me the question, that's why I say 9-3, but more than likely 11-1.
I mean, maybe 11. I think you go 12-0 more than likely. Except I don't know that you. I mean, can you beat Alabama at home? That's the tough game. Brinsky,
I'm here.
Give me however many teams you think have a realistic possibility to win the national championship this season.
You said how many teams?
Yeah, I put in 4. I said 4.
I'll say 4 or 5.
Shorty, but name them for us.
I would say Ohio State, Georgia, Oregon.
Twins, but
that's what I said.
Oregon.
Well, say it again. Give them to me again. I'm sorry, man. I was reading that funny comment.
Yeah.
Oh no,
I like that.
No.
Shout out to Remy Lemon.
You got Bama, Georgia,
Oregon.
Okay.
I'm trying to go through the conferences. I'll say us. Ole Miss.
Staying on that one, huh? Staying on that one, huh? Boy, loves me.
I am on the record of saying.
Twice he's on the record on this channel saying silly shit.
No. I was playing about the Missouri stuff. No.
The other time you called them beating Georgia.
No, and that's what I'm talking about.
It's twice, bro. That's twice.
They have everything.
Oh, piss.
They have. I said the only reason if they lose to Georgia.
So that's 4: Bama, Georgia, Oregon, Ole Miss. No Texas, no Oklahoma, no LSU.
Oh no, wait a minute. Oh, LSU, hell no.
We're talking about winning the whole thing, right?
If you talking about winning the whole thing this year, LSU is nowhere near that thing. You can't lose neighbors. You can't.
But no, that was the question, right, Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't lose.
Ole Miss is gonna win the whole thing, though, huh? They could win. They could win the whole thing.
Oh no, my fault. See, I'm forgetting the other team.
That's what I'm getting at. Like I'm like, hold on. What we talking about?
Texas.
So you think he's gonna? He hadn't won one big game in his career at Ole Miss, and he's gonna win like 5 of them. Shit.
Hey man. Hey man, just
struggle with this.
Hey man, I'm not. I forgot some other teams. That was my bad.
Ohio State.
Ohio State is a must win. They have too much of everything. They literally have to win. Ryan
I don't know how you. I mean, yeah, I don't know how you can't say that they're one of the top or that they have an opportunity because they literally. I mean, look at that defense. It's nasty.
Yeah, like I think they got. Thank God Caleb Downs did not go to Georgia. Thank God.
Yes, thank God. But it may be just as bad at Ohio State.
I don't care, but I'm just glad he didn't go to Georgia because I'm telling you,
I certainly trust Ryan Day.
Team though, when Malachi starts, oh my goodness,
I couldn't deal with Coach I, and I couldn't deal with Shouter. With this, I promise you, I would just left them alone.
We just had to freaking just mute their asses for the whole season.
I'm like, bro, I'm not coming on none of y'all shows.
Yeah.
If y'all
not watching them, you can't come on mine. Get the fuck out of here.
I don't want to talk to you, bro.
Kicking Shawty out the damn comments, all that shit. Get out. Yeah.
All right. I can't even be in the comments.
Not if y'all have gotten Caleb Downs, no.
Ooh, but if y'all would have got, I'm telling you, man, I would have been done with y'all, man.
I'm already struggling.
How many teams we got, Brinsky?
That's 4. You've got Ohio State, Oregon, UGA, Bama. That's it.
Okay.
That could win.
I'm gonna put Texas up there too.
Motherfucker. All right, here we go.
All right, Jason. That's what I'm saying. They did me, Jason. Just come on, man. You gotta give them their credit, man. Give them their credit, man.
Which one of you dudes got the balls to throw some money on it?
I'm not saying. Only reason I'm saying it ain't like it's a 14 playoff no more. It's like pretty wide open right now. That's a huge difference, man. That's a big difference. Now, if you talking about a 14 playoff, I would have just said this. I would have said Oregon. I would have said Ohio State.
Got the balls to put some money on this.
So when you saying put some money on it, what you mean by put some money on it? What are we talking about? Speak. Let's talk about logistics.
Okay. To make the playoffs.
You don't think they made the playoffs?
I don't think.
Okay, what you want to do? Let's
3 games.
There we go.
Let's put a ball. Let's put a ball on. Let's put a ball on.
Huh? Let's put what?
Put a bottle on.
I say they made. Let's put a bottle on. I say they make the playoffs. Let's put a bottle on it at a $60 cap. Any bottle of liquor at a $60 cap.
I like this one.
Okay. I would have said 100, but okay.
Oh well, shit. I'm fine with that too. And shout out to Coach I. Still owe you a bottle of tequila. Shout out to Coach I.
Is Coach I in here? He's not.
I'm with that too. Let's do that.
All right.
Coach I in here?
All right. He not. No, I just want to put it out there. I'm just a real. No. I'm just a real G. I let there. I'm a real G.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be more than Hennessy. I don't know what Hennessy costs. Really, I haven't bought Hennessy in a long time.
I don't drink cognac. Whoever that is, Remy Lemon, I don't drink cognac.
I don't even really drink that much anymore. You may have to put my 60 on something else.
No, you're gonna give him some wild Irish roll.
Well,
or some Thunderbird.
Well, no, I'm just a tequila guy and vodka guy. I'm a tequila and vodka guy. But no, Jason, any whatever limit, $100, $60, whatever bottle.
Bottle of Cabo Wabo or what?
Oh, I love Cabo Wabo. That's my favorite tequila, actually.
Okay, I'll drink it. We'll drink it together after
bottle Cabo Wabo.
I'll even drink it with you after you have to hand me the shit. There we
Damn.
go. Yeah, how much Mad Dog
If
2020?
it cover water, I'll buy you a bottle and buy another one, and we can drink it.
Shit, you can
Ryman
buy the
Lemon
store
says,
with a.
how much
So-
MVP
so
2020
I
you get
got-
for $60? That would be about 60 bottles.
And I was just about to say you can buy 60 bottles for real.
Mad Dog.
Hey, so
2020.
Brinsky is our what they call what you call it when you get the third party. He's our third party. When you have to go get it. What they call it? When you have to go get that stamp.
The witness, yeah.
I witnessed it. I signed it.
Yeah, he's
I
our
signed-
witness.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
So,
That's fine.
so
And
the
here's
bottom,
Okay, now
Jason
now
and I are saying this.
$100
we got a bunch
cap.
of witnesses in here too, and believe me, the Sooner fans are going to remember. But just so you know, hold on real quick. I'm going to ask you this:
So what are we betting, Jason?
a bottle. You just said a
You
bottle.
bet the
I know
bottle on $100 cap.
that. Mhm. That they're going to get. You think Texas? Is
No,
gonna
I'm saying what of our terms? What other terms? Okay.
Texas
He
making
just
I
the
want to make
playoff
sure.
or not, and they ain't. So here's the deal: if Texas goes down, here's
Hey,
what I
put your
think.
hand
though.
up. Put your hand to the screen so we can shake.
Pound game.
Pound game. We got that.
Got him. Boom. Got him.
Check it. Now, let me ask you this question: with that JV schedule they got, if they win 9 games, they don't go. Don't you think they don't go?
They can go with 9 games.
Texas?
How big it is this year? 14?
You know what, Jason? The only reason I said they
14
will
or
because they're
12.
going to be positioned. Yep.
Here's the reason though. But okay, so if we let's say Ole Miss has a tougher schedule, right? And they go 9-3. They don't have to play Texas, but they go 9-3, and they played a tougher schedule. Oklahoma goes 9-3, and they had a tougher schedule. There's to me, a lot of things can go bad unless you have a lot of teams that shit the bed. Who's gonna? I mean, literally, Texas has the easiest schedule in the damn conference, probably in the country, as far as conference schedules go. They literally play one team that was 0-8, 2 that were 1-7 in the conference last year, and then what? A 3-5 and a 2 3-5s.
Rescue, you want to retort or can I go? I'll wait on you if you need to go.
I'm just saying.
I'm
saying 9-3 is probably not going to help them very much. They got to win 10, so that means they got to win 10. I love this bet. Mark it down, folks.
Hold on. Let me do. I'm just need to make sure one thing is.
Why wouldn't I win Texas?
Is playoff 12 or 14 this year? They changed it up.
12. It's only 12.
Okay,
it's 12. It's 12.
Okay, 9-3. You can borderline make it in there.
Hold on though. You could also
depending on schedule though. Depending on schedule, depending on schedule, you might not
because they're not. A lot of these teams aren't playing each other. See, the Mizzou could lose the games that we're talking about. They could lose to Oklahoma, which they will. They could lose to Alabama, they will, and they're probably going to lose to A&M or somebody like that. But they don't really have anybody else that they have to worry about. They don't even have to play Ole Miss. They don't have to play LSU. They're playing that same crap schedule that Texas is playing. So even if they lose those 3 games, which should be the only losses that they get, if they're worth a shit at all, those should be their only losses. They could lose to Arkansas, but I don't know that they do. But that.
So let me put this in perspective, Jason.
So there's Missouri that they're high on. Ole Miss, I think that they could lose the games that you expect them to lose. They have to play just Alabama this year, right? No, they play Georgia. No Bama. They play Oklahoma. And who else do they play? That's good. LSU.
They'll find a way to hiccup.
I'm saying though, but their hiccups is probably going to be 9-3.
They'll still put Texas.
So
why would they put
to your point, Jason?
Schedule.
Right. I'm with you, and I kind of agree with Jason to that point. I think if you had a 9-3 Oklahoma, you would have to take them over a 9-3 Texas because the strength of schedule. So what I would say this right here, not being totally unbiased. Right. So being totally unbiased, I said this earlier. No matter what the playoff bracket is going to be, the SEC is going to get 25% of teams into that playoff. So that means they're going to get 4 teams. So with 4 teams, no, 25%, 4. Or a, you're right. I apologize. You're right. I'm thinking about it. So 3 teams. So what 3 teams do we get in?
I think they might get 4, but
being totally unbiased.
They might not. Though.
I'm with you too. Mm-hmm. 3 or 4. I'm with you. Same. We in the same ballpark. So let's just say, no matter what you think, so we're 3 teams. Well, just throw me 3.
Yeah, I think it's Oklahoma, Georgia. I mean, the third one's a toss up to me. It could be Texas, but it could be LSU. Could be Ole Miss. Okay. Ain't gonna be Missouri. Ain't gonna be Missouri. Probably ain't gonna be.
And obviously not no Bama. What you got, Brinsky?
Oh, it could be Bama too. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have forgot then. It should be Bama. Look, if they're gonna get 3 in, probably those 3. Oklahoma, Georgia, Bama. But I could see them getting 4 and it being Ole Miss or Texas also. Or maybe LSU. But not Mizzou. Not Mizzou. All right, guys. We've been going 2 hours and 18 minutes. I had to get Brinsky to say it. That's you don't want to add anybody to the mix, huh? You're just gonna stick with Texas too. All right, but don't put no money on it, man. You got Big Boss to say it, you know.
Hey man, the season ain't started. The season ain't started.
Yeah, you gotta get baby milk, man. I'm just fucking. You gotta make sure you get.
The season didn't start yet, so once the season when it get close to it, I may change my mind.
Similax.
Yeah, it depends on which three. That's possible, Sooner Cowboys, but I think a 9-3, 9-3 team does get in. You may end up with a couple of 10-2s and a couple of 9-3s, and I could see you getting them both in. Mm-hmm. It just depends on how it ends up working out.
And real talk, now we also have to think about this. Now we call it a 12-team playoff, but we give them 2 at large, so it really 10-team playoff. How many at large bids we give?
3 at large.
It's 2, right?
It's 5 at large bids total.
So if it's 3, that means
it's the Power 4.
So what I'm getting at, that means what I'm saying is the top.
And then they've got a group of 5. That's 5 automatic bids. But yes, then after that they've got 7 to give out. Look, there's where you get sticky because I think the Big 12
people gotta understand. Right.
You get 2 10-2 teams in the championship of the Big 12 because they're going to beat each other up. And I wouldn't be that surprised if the ACC did the same thing. I mean,
people just have to understand that because you're in the top 12 at the end of the year, that don't mean you're going to get in the playoff because they got those at large bids.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and there's the thing. Here, when you get to that second team, let's say you get, and I wouldn't totally not be surprised if you saw a 9-3 and a 10-2 team playing for the Big 12 championship, which could mean you either end up with 2 3-loss teams, or maybe you get one that has 4. Mm-hmm. But you could have a champion with 3 losses. The second team probably ain't going to get in if that happens. And I don't know that the ACC ends up with that. I don't know. I think they're probably a little more top heavy than that, right? I mean, I know Miami's supposed to be good, but they always are supposed to be good. They ain't done shit in a long time, right? Talent wise,
the Cowboys talking about what we talking about, Jason. Because like Texas would have been the 12th. I mean, Oklahoma would have been the 12th team this year in rankings, but they would not have
they missed
made the playoff due to the automated bids.
That's right. They missed the New Year's Six game. They did because of that stupid group of 5 shit. Mm-hmm. Which is still going to happen.
Right. And that's what I'm getting at.
It's still going to happen.
Right.
Yeah. Except, well, it's not exactly the same because they were still, well, no, yeah, it kind of is. But they only have 4 power conferences in one group of 5 now. So it wouldn't have been the same. It wouldn't have been the same.
It's 3.
Still, you get 7 at-large bids. 7 at-large. I believe that you're definitely, obviously, you get the champions from the Big Ten and the SEC, but I think that you probably get at least 2 from one, and you're going to get 3 from the other. You're going to get 7 coming out of those 2 conferences, guaranteed. It's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the Big 12 or the ACC won't get 2. One of them will not get 2 because of that. They're going to be the ones that are asked out,
right?
Unless somehow you ended up, and there's no damn way that you're going to end up with 2 undefeated teams in the Big 12 championship. There's no fucking way. It's not happening. It's not happening. I think they're going to beat the crap out of each other. You've really seen that from the Pac-12 the last few years too, that they kind of eat on each other, right? Get down towards the end, you're going to end up with too many losses. Look, they wouldn't have put Washington in if they didn't stay undefeated. Yeah, if they had lost that Pac-12 championship game, they would have been out. Florida State would have been in. Oregon would have been out. That's what they were hoping for. They're blaming it on everybody else, but that's it. We got to get out of here, folks. Guys, thanks you so much.
Did you hear the pitch? Did you hear the pitch that Kurt Herbstreit pitched about Florida State getting in the playoffs? He pitched. I heard he pitched a fit.
He didn't really. He said who he thought should be. It's his job to be an analyst and say who he thinks is the best. Right?
Yeah, but no, I heard he pitched a fit in terms of like if they get in, he walking out type shit.
That's bullshit. That's Florida State crybaby shit. I'm so over hearing those people. Shut up already. Don't lose by 60 in the fucking Orange Bowl, and we might want to hear it anymore. Shut up.
Yeah, Brinsky, he's snoring online. Brinsky, get yourself together, man.
Man.
Did you really just fall asleep on our show? Brinsky.
I don't know what y'all talking about. Somebody falling asleep. I did.
Sound like you're snoring, big dog.
Tell everybody how to find you, sharpshooter. Tell everybody how to find you. We're getting out of here anyway.
Oh my God.
This is hilarious.
Man. I'm not listening to y'all. But leave me alone.
All right, bro. We'll talk to you later, man. We appreciate you. Good. Thanks for coming in. Make sure you guys get over to the Sharpshooters podcast. Subscribe to my boy's show. He needs to get him to 500 so we can get his him going and monetized. Thanks for coming on, Brinsky.
All right, Dub.
Later. Brinsky falling asleep and shit.
Peace out, Brinsky.
That was awesome. All right, man. Shotty, tell everybody how to find your ass with your big opinions. We already know. But hey, I'm gonna invade your show tomorrow night. I want on your show.
Yeah, man.
Let me on.
Man, listen, you know, I have an open door policy, man. Anybody can come on my show anytime because it's just my damn opinion. That's a great thing about my show. It ain't no such thing as being right or wrong, man. We just chopping it up.
Sweet. Perfect. That'll work.
She should be.
Nice.
So, but yeah. Y'all can find me on Wednesday nights, 9:30, on YouTube, man. Just my damn opinion, man. And I have a new show coming out too, man. The Doc and the Jock. I'll be having a show with this licensed therapist. She's a doctor, and we have a show coming out, and we'll be talking about mental health and things like that. So yeah, man, for
Nice.
sure, man. Check me out.
That's awesome.
Appreciate you having me on, Jason.
Who's gonna be doing your production? Are you gonna just do it, or if you need some help with that, let me know.
Yeah,
bro.
man. Well, she and I yeah, man. Yeah, I always need help, bro. I just, I'm so laid back, bro. Like I tell people all the time, man, I do this for therapy. Other people are in it for different reasons and things like that. But if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it the right way, right? So I'm always.
Is that on the same channel?
I'm always
or is it on a different channel? Is that going to be on?
It's going to be on a different channel.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
It's going to be on a different channel. It's literally called the Jock. Yeah. Okay, so cool. Yeah, she and I'll be on with a therapist. Like I said, we'll be on and we'll be talking about mental health, and we'll be talking about people that have, generally it's basically gonna be people calling in with their secrets, and we're gonna be dealing with their mental health and trauma on the secrets that they call in and give us.
Okay, I love it. All right, man. Well, thanks a lot for coming in, man. We always enjoy chopping it up with you, busting each other's chops. It's fun. Now we got a bet for a bottle of Cabo Wabo on, you putting you just giving out gifts today, putting your money on freaking Texas Longhorns. So I got to say thank you. I'm excited about that shit. I already got a bet with one Longhorn fan saying that
I got this. I got a place on the shelf that I'm gonna leave for that.
You see here in the woodshed, there's room. I will find a spot for that bottle. It'll be a trophy, whether it's drank or not.
And I apologize. I think I got a delay on my end. I'm on my PC.
Okay. No.
Okay. Well. Okay. I got you. I hear you talking ish.
We talking ish. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks so much for coming in. If you haven't already hit that like button, folks, make sure you do. We still got 200 people in here. I only think I saw about 30 likes. That's not cool. Wipe your damn feet before you come in this house. We appreciate that.
What?
Hey, yeah. And
if you know better, do better.
That's right. And thank all you guys for coming in. Ryman Lemon, Sooner Cowboys, Sooner Legend, Mike Esther, new to the show, I believe. Good to see you in here as well. Let's see who else we got. Jimmy Satterfield, Sooner in Texas. I know we have more CW Long. Yeah, man, we've got a lot of folks that were in here tonight. We appreciate everybody. Kim Hurst, the whole crew, as always. Steve B, Stephen G. Love all you guys.
Hey,
thanks a lot for coming in. Yo, sir.
Jason, can I say one thing before we get out of here? To Sooner Legends, yes, we do have a call in. I'm gonna actually give out my phone number. You can actually call my phone and you'll be live into the show.
Sweet. Perfect. Yeah. Hey, we'll make sure to get all that information out. I think that's an amazing show. I'm excited for you on that one, man. I'm excited. I'd like to be involved and help out if you need it. So let me know. It'd be cool. Yeah. Be real cool. Yeah, sure. Kyle Dupuis, thanks a lot for coming in as well. Hey guys, all you guys, hope I'm not forgetting anybody that was in here today, but anybody who was, thank you so much for coming on and being a part of this show. Kim Hurst, CW Long. Hey man, we appreciate you all. Thanks a lot for coming in, and we will see you on the next one.